took him to find his place. Oh, really? Yes. That's why.
The deeper and
You
deeper
know what? I
I
thought this was
go,
in Jersey.
I find what it is I should know. 'Cause it's just a matter of time that you'll reawaken your mind. Oh, come with me, come to know and find out what is true. Then you'll know what's in store just for you. No more living a lie. I can look to the sky and say I'm reawakening mine. Come to know and find out what is true. Yeah.
Happy Holy Day, Moors, and welcome to House of Reawakening Minds. House of Reawakening Minds exists to provide for exploration and the practice of spirituality in an enlightened community dedicated to honoring the myriad of sacred pathways to the universal creator. We are a holistic center for spiritual grounding, free thought, self-discovery, and Moorish science, and awakening experience for all ages. Tonight we are pleased to have with us our brother Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey and our brother Shem Malachi Bey, who will be coming on later on. Thank you so much.
Islam, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Veda alaikum. And it's great to be here again at the House of Reawakening Mind. Wow, we have a treat for you today. The title, Proclaim Our Moorish Nationality and Return to Our Land through the Restoration of Our State of Mind. And it's important that we know the vital significance of national unity and how that will benefit our individual as well as our collective rights. I have on the board, a question. What does it mean in international law when a people use names of English, Welsh, Scottish, German, French, and Irish descent when they are clearly not of English, Welsh, Scottish, German, French, and Irish consanguinity? What does that mean in international law? This has been going on for several generations, over 200 years. A people using names of various pedigrees, English, Smith, Jones, Johnson, Williams, Brockington, O'Neill, Jackson, O'Reilly, Richards, Richardson, Pierce, Peterson. So you see that all the time, every day. I recall my aunt telling me years ago, about 20 years ago, when I was teaching her and her children nationality and sovereignty. And she says, yeah, I think I was at the bank, working at the bank one day, and one of the, you'll say white man came in, an older white man came in, and he saw my nameplate, and he said, oh, Brockington, that's English. So she brought that to my attention. And so this is, the hospital records, medical records, school records. We just didn't know how to address it. We're addressing it individually. The problem is we're addressing it individually. That's the problem. We have the smoking gun, the records. The records is the evidence of mass denationalization of a people. How did that we came to be using these names? How did that happen? We're clearly not of English, Irish, Scottish, French, German, and Scottish descent. How do we come to use these names? How did that happen? Who did this to us? And what does it mean in international law? I'm not talking about going to the United States Supreme Court. I'm not talking about going to the United States Supreme Court and address this. That's not the proper venue. United States Supreme Court is not the proper venue to address this. The Hague is the proper venue. The International Court of Justice. Iran didn't go to the United States Supreme Court to address the issue of the violation of the United States violated the 1955 treaty. Iran went to the United States Supreme Court. Iran what? Lodged a complaint in the International Court of Justice. Why did Iran go to the United States Supreme Court? Because that's not the proper venue. The treaty, 1955 treaty between the United States and Iran. Iran launched and filed a complaint in the International Court of Justice against the United States. Not in the United States Supreme Court. That is not the proper venue. You have a treaty issue here. This is a declaration of war. When you have an issue of mass denationalization, millions for generations, over 200 years, have been using names clearly not of their descent. Make it clear. There's no such thing as English, European names. Let me explain. There's no such thing as Albion names. Let me explain. Let's talk epistemology, genealogy. And epistemology, which is a branch of philosophy that deals with how one knows knowledge. Genealogy, dealing with the studies of genetics and genes and line of descent. Albion is not a descent. Because when we're dealing with law now, you got to be specific. European is not a descent. English is, French is, German, Dutch. White is not a descent. So you say, well, white people's names. No, that's not a descent. So you have to be specific. What is the descent of the names? Right. I know there are trade names, corporate names, but I'm not addressing that. I'm addressing the issue of mass denationalization and what it means in international law. This is a major issue here. So the importance of national unity. To address this issue of mass denationalization and to be effective, you need national unity. You need political structure. This is a weakness in this Moorish movement. You need political structure. We need a national body politic to launch a complaint in the International Court of Justice against the United States for mass denationalization, crime against humanity, apartheid, genocide. I'm not talking about going to the United States Supreme Court, because that's not the proper venue. There's treaties. Iran didn't go to the United States Supreme Court. So I just wanted to raise these issues here, and I'll be addressing these issues on different parts of my Facebook page. So I'm going to go into an article written by illustrious Joaquin Bey and myself addressing the title is United States Violates, this is also on my Facebook page, Abdullah Bey, the report, also illustrious Joaquin Bey on his Facebook page, illustrious Joaquin Bey. And this is the front cover of the report. And you'll see this part of the article. You can download the whole article. This report, front cover, the Regional Organized Crime Information Center Special Research Report. Moorish Nation, Sovereign Citizen Movement. All right, this is the cover of the report. I'm going to read the last page of the report, bottom part. Report copyright 2009, so it's been out for almost 11 years. This publication was supported by grant number 2008-RS-CX-K005, awarded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance, Office of Justice Programs, U.S. Department of Justice. The Office of Justice Programs also coordinates the activities of the Bureau of Justice Statistics, the National Institute of Justice, the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency, and the Office for Victims of Crime. This document was prepared under the leadership, guidance, and funding of the Bureau of Justice Assistance, BGA, Office of Justice Programs, U.S. Department of Justice, in collaboration with the Regional Organized Crime Information Center, ROCIC. The opinions, findings, and conclusions or recommendations expressed in this document are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official position or policy of the U.S. Department of Justice, Regional Organized Crime Information Center, and ROCIC are protected by copyright laws. Nah, you're not getting away with that. United States Attorney General, you're not getting away with that. It's under your leadership. The title of our article, illustrious Joaquin Bey and myself, United States violates treaties and defamation of Morocco, Moorish Nation, as sovereign citizen movement. Read that again. United States violates treaties and defamation of Morocco, in parentheses that we have Moorish Nation, as sovereign citizen movement. So this report funded under the leadership, guidance, and funding of the Justice Department, under the leadership, guidance of the United States Attorney General. This is a declaration of war against Morocco. If you go to the Justice Department, United States Justice Department website, and look at the counter-terrorist, FBI counter-terrorist division. FBI counter-terrorist division. Counter-terrorist division. It's outlined, define what sovereign citizen is. Anti-government, domestic terrorists. All right. Where is it in any treaty between Morocco, Treaty of Peace and Friendship, between His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Morocco, and the United States, 1787, that the United States is authorized through the treaty to refer to Morocco as domestic terrorists, anti-government. What is that in the treaty? That's a declaration of war. Because it creates hostility. You're creating hostility. This report was sent to all police departments all over the country. I'm not getting on the police. I'm not getting on them. Attorney General. This report goes to the captain of all police departments all over the country. The captain, they read, captain reads the report, a part of the report, to the people that's on there, on her. And watch out for these certain plates, watch out for this, watch out for this. So they're being prepped. So when a Moor is operating on his own, on our own ancestral state, Moorish state, and then Moorish tax, and then also or you have a Moorish nationality card, and then they stop you. ID, take out the nationality card, or they call right to travel documents. Their radio, because remember they're being groomed, domestic terrorists, anti-government, cop killers, don't respect the law. So they radio, sovereign citizen. Remember, they're being prepped now. So now they come to the scene. Remember, they already cop killer. Let me talk about don't respect law, domestic terrorists, anti-government. So they're already hyped. They're hyped already to hostility. This report. All police departments all over the country. The reason why the report, we didn't use the title, because it's important to comprehend why we didn't use that. Joaquin and I didn't use the title. United States violates treaties and defamation of the Moors. Why didn't we use that? It's very important. Very important to comprehend why we use Morocco instead of Moors. All right. If you look, once again, Iran did not go to the United States Supreme Court. When you look at the International Court of Justice suit that Iran placed lodged against the United States, it doesn't read Iranians versus United States citizen, like the header. Iranians versus United States citizen. That's why. So it's not a defamation against the Moors, defamation against Morocco. It's an act of war. It's a treaty violation. It's a breach against the peace. Because this report creates hostility. You're implanting. And then the opinions, findings, and conclusions or recommendations expressed in this document are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official position or policies of the U.S. Department of Justice. That's bull. Attorney General, you're responsible. There's a treaty of peace and friendship between the United States and Morocco. This report was funded on your guidance and leadership. A defamation a breach report. This report should have never been funded. Attorney General, United States Attorney General, you allowed this report, someone to have to be awarded a grant and put out a report that is clearly a breach of peace? Come on. Here we go. Moorish Nation, Sovereign Citizen Movement. FBI, Counterterrorist Division, defines sovereign citizen, domestic terrorist, anti-government. They're very, very violent. That is a treaty violation. So, Jakeem and I, in discussing this as we prepared, preparing to write this article, we wanted to, and I've said to Jakeem, illustrious Jakeem Bey, that we didn't want to just post this report. We didn't just want to post the report. All right? Because we have to guide the people aright on how to properly look at it. And the violation, to outline the violation. Because if we just posted this report, it would instill fear in nationalized Moors. By giving nationalized Moors the proper way to look at it, you build confidence. Because you're giving them a direction on how to address it. You're giving them a remedy on how to address it. The mere point is not going to, you have to give them the remedy of how to address this treaty violation report. Because all there would have been news report, and there would have been people, but more would have been afraid. They see more as a sovereign citizen, anti-government, domestic terror, the cop killers. This has gone too long. 2009. 10 years. Yes. And gone too long and unaddressed. Yes.
Not only that, it appears that, not only based off that, it appears that they're ones who assume that this is America, which it is, and it's not Morocco, which it is. And then one assume that the treaty doesn't apply to Moorish Americans. It is a treaty between the countries of Morocco and the United States.
Right.
So could you clear that up for the ones who do not understand their historical background and lineage?
Yes, this question comes up all the time. Not sometimes, all the time. This is why I put out, this is why I put out Moors and Masonry. I put out Moors and Masonry to address this question. To give the Moors a broad historical context. Because I know that Moors, nationalized Moors, when they come, in particular those who come into this information about their nationality history, thinking that Morocco is over there, that's the, and how could this be Morocco when Morocco is over there? That's, I can comprehend how someone would ask that question because they knew they haven't done much study. It's logical because they haven't done much study. So they're still testing the waters. They watched a few YouTubes and, and we're saying that this is Morocco, and they'll say these fools, and, saying that this Morocco, this is America, Morocco's over there, because they haven't done much study. All right? So that's the Moroccan Empire. Let me hit it. Hit it! Yeah. You know things to make things go right? In Moors and Masonry, I showed the vast, because this is answering the question, it's very important that, because there's a lack of information. The question is coming from a lack of information. So I have to fill the void. In my book, Moors and Masonry, I chronicle the vast sea power, the vast Moorish sea power during the 16, 1700s, 15, 16, 17, 1800s, the vast sea power. And during that time, which time it's been purported that the Portuguese, the Spaniards, the French, the Dutch, and the English transported over 12 million of us from the continent of Africa due to the America, to North, Central, South America, and the islands. During that time period of this vast control of the seas, we the Moors were seizing European ships. In my book, Moors and Masonry, I outlined treaties between Moroccan Empire and France, Moroccan Empire and the Netherlands, Moroccan Empire and England. There were peace treaties, tribute treaties. And in the tribute treaties, there's agreement that releasing of prisoners or captives, how much they would pay for the releasing. I showed this Moors were capturing hundreds of thousands of Europeans and held them for high ransom. This is tremendous power, sea power, political power, economic power over Portugal, Spain, France, the Netherlands, and England. From 711 to 1492, Moors ruled Europe. And continued. So this also in 700s to 1700, modern day India. So the Moroccan Empire, so the lack of study that they're looking at the Moroccan Empire as this little place in North Africa because they haven't done the study. That's it, they haven't done the study. That's why, so I have to answer the question so they can see the vast. Like they'll say, the sun never set on the British Empire. No. Don't want to hear numbers. No. The sun never set on the Moroccan Empire. Why? Because it's vast. Europe, here, North, Central, South America, India, North Africa, West Africa, a vast empire. Also, you have the Ottoman Empire that reigned for 600 years, ruling in Southern Europe. So to answer questions like that, you've got to provide them with information. It's a lack of information. That's all. It's a lack of information. They're looking at Morocco as this little empty in North Africa. That's it. They're not just there.
I think you're going to have to give them the empire because obviously they may be a little bit slow. You're going to have to show the empire in writing because that's our epistemology. So they have to see the words in writing in order to picture the vast empire of Morocco, as opposed to the kingdom, the little bitty kingdom that just formed in 1956.
Right, so, and that's part of the Moroccan Empire too. That kingdom, that little.
Yes, that's a part of it.
Right.
But that's not the empire.
No, that's not the empire, it's the
So
kingdom.
could you write the entire Moroccan empire like you did before?
Well, I need a world map.
No, I'm talking about the
I'm
words.
trying to find you one. I think I got one that's.
No, I'm talking about when you wrote down the,
Right. I mean, all right.
the area, the,
Yeah, Europe. What they call India today. North Africa. West Africa. North America. South America. Central America. And the Americana, what they call the adjoining islands. All right? The sun never sets on the Moroccan Empire. And you're talking also looking at the spice trade with China. So we had this tremendous trade on spices and silk trade, the silk route, trade route. So there's a book called, 3-volume book called, that's got to provide information. So the history of the Moorish Empire in Europe. The history of the Moorish Empire in Europe, volumes 1, 2, and 3 by S.P. Scott. Each volume is 600 pages long. Each book is 600 pages long. It's important I say that. Why? Because it's comprehensive. So you're looking at almost 2,000 pages combined. Very comprehensive. They need those books. They need information. What makes me confident? What makes me sit up here confident? Because I study. So I can give you the same information I studied. Moses Masonry, over 100 books, letters, treaties. History of the Moorish Empire in Europe, volume 1, 2, and 3. And many other books I have listed in Moses Masonry. They, like I said, you have people who got conscious yesterday, last week. I know where it's coming from. They got conscious yesterday. They became conscious yesterday. Last week. They watched Taz last week. And you say this is Moroccan Empire. And they, no it's not. No it's not. They just got conscious yesterday. Last week. No it's not. That's all. They haven't studied enough. That's it. They haven't studied enough. I already know how to do it. They haven't studied enough. That's all it is. They see on the map that Europeans created and say Moroccan Empire, Morocco. That's it. That's where that's coming from. A lack of study. It's not their fault. They haven't been studied enough. I'm just addressing it from a logical perspective. Why would they ask the question? I know why. And what makes me confident? All right, why can I sit up here with confidence and say that this is Moroccan Empire? And I don't care who is in front of me. I don't care who is in front of me. I don't care who's in front of me. And I'll say that any place, anytime, anywhere, in front of anybody on this planet. With confidence. What makes me that? And not them. Well, what makes me different? Who am I? A little bit of me. Well, am I so confident on it? Because it's study. I ain't so special. I ain't no more than special than they are. It's just the study, that's all. That's it. So I provide an avenue of study in my book, Moses Masonry. You ain't got to do research. It's already there. You ain't got to do what I did. Spend hours and days and years in the National Archives and Historical Society and reading the trees upon trees and letters and stuff like that. It's already in one book. All right, another question? there another question?
No, I think that kind of dealt with it.
All right.
What there is, but I don't want to keep entertaining this person.
All right.
I guess, they say if you are the government, then where's your charter, which lets me know, okay. I'm sorry.
They say, if we, I guess if we are the government, then where is your charter? First of all, a charter is a license, and we don't need a license to be on our own land. That's number one. So that would help you explain why the Albidons needed a charter to come to America. So hope that clears that up for you. A constitution, we have a constitution. You can go back to the Iroquois Constitution of 1778, which is a constitution that supersedes the U.S. Constitution, of which the Iroquois assisted the colonizers in helping with their constitution and laws. And if you want to talk about laws, the laws were already in place on the land. So if you go back to the Albany Plan of 1570, those were the laws that was in place that assisted the colonizers with the Articles of Association, as well as the Declaration.
Article of Confederation?
Yes. So there you go. So this shows that you are not as astute as you portray. So if you will break down the words, you say charter is a license. Constitution already exists before the U.S. Constitution, in which the Constitution is derived from the Iroquois Constitution, and the laws are the divine laws that were already supersedes the laws that are in place now. So that's your answer.
Yeah, so once again, it goes to a lack of study. That's all. They haven't studied. They got conscious 3 seconds ago. They became conscious 3 seconds ago. When they watch one YouTube or watch Facebook and they watch one YouTube or Facebook, it's on.
It is on.
It's on. And they're in this challenging mode, as opposed to a learning mode. That challenging. Learn, study, read. That's why I provide information to read. Study. The questions are great questions. I know where they're coming from, and lack of study. This is why we do classes like this. This is why I write. This is why I give books, reference books, so they can see they don't know the vast power of our state. They don't know our political and sovereign power from a historical perspective. They're looking at our state of affairs now. In your government, we've been conquered. We are conquered people. And the history will show you that through your study, that we are conquered people. 5 Moorish dynasties ruled Europe over a period of 8 years. Dynastic power for 800 years. So that's why I say the book is titled The History of the Moorish Empire in Europe. During their 5 dynastic reigns, you had governmental structure. You will see in the 3-volume book, and also my book, Moors and Masonry. And you'll see a list of over 100 books in Moors and Masonry. Or you'll see government structure in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. His Imperial Majesty, that's government structure. That's an imperial structure. You have emirs, which was made of an emirate, caliphs and caliphats, government structure. So once you know that history of Moors and government, and see, you have the 1563, where Spain launched the Inquisition against the Moors. Philip II in 1563 issued a bulla, Spanish bulla, classifying the Moors as Spaniards. The Moors were forbidden to wear their Moorish headdress, turban, and fezzes, use their Moorish names and titles, and they're forbidden to wear their garb. This is a Spanish bulla. This history is important because what it does, it expands your mind. This is why I do the research and produce literature so that I can answer those questions. My Moors and Masonry was designed to give our people a solid, grounded, documentary research information to intellectually challenge the slave trade story by showing our vast sea power during the same time period of the purported slave trade. No African scholars, not one, right on the level I go to Moors and Masonry. They've accepted that we was transported by the Spanish, Portuguese. So they've never read levels of information. Those books were written. Those books I referenced in Moors and Masonry, most of them written by Europeans, scholars. Just to accept a few. Nabir Matar, University of Minnesota. It was not Albion. Nabir, Nabil, Matar, Matar, University of Minnesota. He's written several books. I referenced several of his books in Moors and Masonry. Well researched. The other ones are Europeans. Linda Cowley, Princeton University. Christine Woodard, Durham University in England. Elaine Friedman, who dealt with the Moorish enslaving the French. This is well documented in historical societies in France, the Netherlands, England, Spain, Portugal. National Archives in England, France, Spain, Portugal. United States National Archives. This is documented information on this tremendous power. You had these European powers were afraid. Linda Cowley of Princeton University, when she was at Yale University, her male colleagues were not happy with her. Because Linda Cowley, and she won the Shelby Award. Shelby Award is, in that field of history, that's a high award. So Linda Cowley is respected among her peers, the historians, the Shelby Award. So I also researched the awards they won. So to say my book is trash, these are scholars that are well acclaimed in their field. Oh, because it's not in textbooks, because it's not in history under books in schools. Oh, no. These are professors, PhDs, at these major universities that teach these courses at major universities that have won awards. It's not taught in the schools. It's taught where they are, but it's taught as electives. But these are well documented facts. I have over 100 books listed in Moors and Masonry. That's just over, that ain't all the books, that's still over 100. Letters and treaties and so forth. So this, going back again, to not belabor the point, we have to read, we have to study. A lot of the questions, I'm telling you, is coming from a lack of study. They became conscious 3 seconds ago. So they come on and, which is fine. But I still, all right. I can answer the questions, but I still would direct them to study. Because I don't want them to say, Abdullah said. I don't want you to say, Abdullah said. Tamara knows I'm against that. I am against that. I don't want you to say, Abdullah said. That's not good. That's why I provide information. You read for yourself so that you can stand on it. We need you to defend the empire. You can't say Abdullah said. I need your help to defend our Moorish empire. And you can't do it by saying Abdullah said. When I transition, what you going to do? Abdullah said. I leave a legacy so you can rise with knowledge. Because it can't be Abdullah said. Any other questions? All right, so thank you for the question. You have questions because it gives us a chance to have people, because I know many people have that same question. And I would encourage those of you to study so that you can, your position can be firm. All right, let me continue. So at the time here. All right. Looking at the report. Illustrious Jakeem Bey and Abdullah Il-Mosi Bey, members of United Republic of Morocco. To join the Moorish National Caucus, send inquiries to United Republic of Morocco at protonmail.com. This report is a breach of peace of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Morocco, and the United States, 1787. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, defines Treaty of Peace as an agreement or contract made by belligerent powers in which they agree to lay down their arms and by which they stipulate the conditions of peace and regulate the manner in which it is to be restored and supported. According to United States versus Reed, quote, a treaty is not only a law, but also a contract between two nations and must, if possible, be so construed as to give full force and effect to all its parts, end quote. Principal duties of the Attorney General of the United States are to supervise and direct the administration and operations of the offices, boards, divisions, and bureaus that comprise the department. Attorney General is responsible for this. The Attorney General has the responsibility to make sure a report of this magnitude, which violates treaties, does not happen under his or her watch. The Supremacy Clause in Article 6, Section 2 of the United States Constitution states that treaties are the law of the land. The Attorney General has constructed notice of the existence of these treaties. This hostile and damaging report was disseminated by the Regional Organized Crime Information Center Special Research Report, Moorish Nation Sovereign Citizen Movement. This treaty violating report was prepared under the leadership, guidance, and funding of the Bureau of Justice Assistance, BGA, Office of Justice Programs, U.S. Department of Justice, in collaboration with the Regional Organized Crime Information Center, ROCIC, in 2009. This treaty violation is perpetuated by the United States. This treaty violating report makes the presumption and assumption that Morocco, Moorish Nation, is a black identity extremist, domestic terrorist, anti-government group and that the Moors are citizens of the United States, anti-government, domestic terrorists, and black identity extremists. Furthermore, the report classifies our Moorish national identification cards as fraudulent, invalid, and criminal forms of identification is absolutely a clear breach of the treaties. Article 21 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between His Imperial Majesty Emperor Morocco and the United States, 1787, clearly distinguishes the difference between a Moor and a United States citizen. Quote, Article 21, if a citizen of the United States shall kill or wound a Moor, or on the contrary, if a Moor shall kill or wound a citizen of the United States, the law of the country shall take place and equal justice shall be rendered. The consul, C-O-N-S-U-L, assisting at the trial, and if any delinquent shall make his escape, the consul, C-O-N-S-U-L, shall not be answerable for him in any manner whatsoever. According to the Illinois General Assembly, H.R. 0689, resolved by the House of Representatives of the 97th General Assembly of the State of Illinois, states the following. Whereas the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, Hamites, and Canaanites who were permitted by the old Pharaoh of Kemet to traverse from East Africa and later form themselves kingdoms extending from northwest, western, and southwestern shores of Africa, the Atlantic Islands, and on to the present-day continental Americas. And whereas the indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas are now united in order to again link themselves with the family of nations, and whereas the Moorish Americans, being aboriginal to the territories of the North, Central, and South Americas, have formed a sovereign, theocratic government guided by the commanding principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, through virtue of the universal right to self-determination, as well as with the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples granted in the Charter. And whereas on January 8, 1886, Noble Ali was born in the state of North Carolina, destined to become the first patriot of his mentally enslaved Moorish American people. In 1912, he was anointed as Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali by the leaders of Egypt and the holy city of Mecca to return to the United States. H.R. 0692, LRB 09. As the last prophet and founding fathers of the newly risen nation of Moorish Americans, as a result of the 13 million Moorish people were emancipated from slavery in 1865. This report is a breach of the following treaties. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1787 and the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1786, made between His Imperial Majesty of Morocco and the United States. The J Treaty of 17, which is the Treaty of Amity, Commerce, and Navigation. The official name of the J Treaty is the Treaty of Amity, Commerce, and Navigation between Great Britain and the United States, 1795. Treaty with the Lenape Moors, Delaware Indians of the United States and United States, 1778. Bay of Tripoli and the United States Treaty of Peace and Friendship, 1796. Ghent Treaty, 1814, between the United States and Great Britain. General Treaty between Morocco and Great Britain, 1856. Day of Algiers, Treaty of Peace and Amity, signed November 4, 1796. Right of Protection in Morocco, ratified by the United States, May 10, 1881. The commemoration, the form of gratitude given by the United States to a nation it has multiple treaties with. Here's yet more defiling excerpts from the Federal Bureau of Investigation on the term they invented called sovereign citizens. The Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Counter-Terrorist Division, defines sovereign citizen, anti-government, domestic terrorist, paper terrorists. The treaties do not delegate authority to the United States to investigate Moors and to classify Moors as domestic terrorists, anti-government, and black identity extremists. Other aspersive reports include the FBI considers sovereign citizen extremists as comprising a domestic terrorist movement. Today, quote, this is a quote, today we look at a third threat, the sovereign citizen extremist movement. Sovereign citizens are anti-government extremists who believe that even though they physically reside in this country, they are separate or sovereign from the United States. As a result, they believe they don't have to answer to any government authority, including courts, taxing entities, motor vehicle department, or law enforcement. That's HTM, FBI, this is the FBI.gov/article/feature.article/sovereign-citizen. Today, all right, this causes all kinds of problems and crimes. It's another quote. For example, many sovereign citizens don't pay their taxes. They hold illegal courts that issue warrants for judges and police officers. They clog up the court system with frivolous lawsuits and liens against public officials to harass them. And they use fake money orders, personal checks, and the like at government agencies, banks, and businesses. All of these violations are a breach of the peace in the treaties. These are also violations of international law and customary international law. These are acts of war and should be treated as such through diplomatic channels involving the United Nations and real government-to-government intercourse. These libel media reports are a breach of the peace established through treaties. All right, so I just that's the report there, the article that Jakeem and I wrote, and we posted it on the Abdullah Bay Facebook page and in illustrious Jakeem Bay Facebook page, and he also has a Instagram page. And so we have asked people to share it. And our plan is, we have a plan of action. The first step is right now. The first step began a month ago. Is to educate people about the report. That's what we're doing. Phase 1, educate people about the report. And in doing so, phase 2 happens. Gain support. Gain support on the national level. So that's why we didn't want to just merely post this report. Frighten Moors. You say that my sovereign citizen, you know that. Got to give them a defense. What is a remedy? What is a remedy for a report of this treaty violation magnitude? 1, first, address it as treaty violation. They don't like Moors. Treaty violation. So, educate Moors on how to properly look at it and properly address it. That's major. Don't overlook that. Never overlook the educational process. That's major. One mind, it creates, I think, is to create one mind, one aim, one goal, one focus. One mind, one aim, one goal, one focus, one voice. We must speak with one voice. We're not doing that right now. We must speak with one voice. We need one voice. What I mean? National unity. National unity. The power of national unity. We're too weak. We're fractured. This group, that group, this group. This group don't like this group. This group don't like this group. We're too fractured. They're killing us, y'all. They're shooting us down. We are loud little things. They're killing us. They're shooting us down. They're poisoning our water, air. If I can use my influence to unite, to facilitate the unity of various voices, body politics, to speak with one voice, one mind, one aim, one thought, one focus. We're too fractured. They're kicking our ass. We're too fractured. Any other questions? I am passionate because I love our people. I'll stop on 2 occasions. I aspire, or we come back into power. 2 ways I stop. I aspire, we come back into power. We come back into power, I can stop. Come back to power, I can stop. Good, good. Back in power. Talk about full power. There's only 2 ways I stop. All right, another question. Any questions before I step off? Any questions? Yes. You gotta get the mic. Hold on.
There you go. Thank you.
While you were teaching, I noticed you said about North America, you were speaking of Queen Khalifa.
No, did I speak of Queen Khalifa?
Yes.
No, I didn't mention her.
Queen Khalifa.
Yes, I know who she is, but you said that I didn't mention her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could you see? I'm trying to get all of the history of my. I'm just learning and just trying to.
Yeah, she was the Moorish queen of that Moorish territory there. California is named after her. Khalifa. Yeah.
Khalifa.
Yes.
Okay. Because I've heard a lot about her. I've seen some pictures, but I wasn't too sure, what exactly the history with her.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to get understanding.
I don't know detailed history about her. California being named after her, and her being a Moorish queen. And along with other, you had, like I said, there's other caliphs and emperors and kings and queens of the Moroccan Empire. Because an empire, and I think it's important I clarify this, an empire, so let's look at this. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the Moroccan Empire and the United States. It wasn't Kingdom Morocco. An empire is a collection of kingdoms. Headed by an emperor or empress. Under the empire are kingdoms. The official name is not Morocco over there. It's the Kingdom of Morocco. The treaty was not between the Kingdom of Morocco and the United States. Show me that. Show me. I want somebody to show me. Show me. In 1786, that a king negotiated a treaty with the United States. You can't show me that. An emperor did, not a king. So, where is the Empire of Morocco? Also over there too. West Africa, North Africa, Europe, it ain't just here. Empire of Morocco. So we said, well, that's Morocco. That's how you get them. What is the official name of what you say Morocco is? The Kingdom of Morocco. Then you go to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. It doesn't say Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the King of Morocco and the United States. I think there's something. Once again, a lack of study. Not that they don't study. They have this information that they don't know. Information that they don't know. That's all that is. So you have to educate them. That's why when I answer a question, I know why they're asking the question, the lack of information. All right? Any other questions? All right? I'm going to bring on our brother Shem Malachi Bay, and he'll continue. I'm going to write these points down to you. Come on, Shem. I'm going to write these points down on the board. Wait on you, bro. Come on. I should have said I was done in 5 minutes. I apologize. So I'll continue. Let's go.
You're gonna write it down, right?
Yeah, I'll write these points down. I'm going to have you up here. All right, bring your laptop up here, bro. Let's go.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I don't need a laptop.
There is a question online.
Yes.
What can we do, or what can I do, fix the problem that we are divided?
Who's that?
You want to answer that, or you want to answer that?
We can both answer that.
But you put up with the board, we'll deal with that anyway.
Yes. All right, so then you answer it then.
But you put in the board, we'll answer that problem.
All right, you answer it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna let him write in the board, and then I'm gonna answer that question.
You can answer it now. Answer it.
I'm gonna let you write in the board first. I'm gonna answer that question. I'm gonna send the point to you. Come on, I'll be right with you. This good?
No.
All right, go ahead. On the side of the table. I'm gonna get I'll get my stuff.
It's good here?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk behind you.
It's good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. Go ahead. I got first one.
One thing, Minister Abdul, I'm gonna call him a minister because he's more than a brother, because he's ministered to the people. And he's a minister. So I'm gonna address him, I'm not gonna address him as brother, I'm gonna address him as Minister Abdul, because he's serving the people, he's ministering to the people. I've been listening to a lot of things that Minister Abdul was talking about, discussing about the amnesia spell, and being taught in the state, they try to put us into the education system through the psychological coercion and social engineering. Now we start to teach among ourselves, and by starting to make claims now, you're starting to threaten a foundation of fraud and occupation. And also, you become aware that you're in a war without guns and knives. You're in a war of legislative acts are being passed that subject you to destruction. And they don't want any of us to come together like our ancient forefathers and monks did and take care of our land, our water, and one government. Come together from our kinsmanship, clans, tribes. So I'm glad to be here today, and I'm gonna say this right here, I'm not afraid. I did a YouTube video that said that if you're afraid, you're a coward. And that's the truth. You know, woman can lay down and cycle and have a baby, push a baby out, and you push the seed up in it, you should be man enough to take care of it, the woman and the child. You can't take care of your water. You can't take care of how you eat. You got to do everything you do. You got to have a license permit. So I'm going to go into this here. This is why I told I do what we discussed. This is what we talk about. The Moors need a life raft. Now let me explain what that means. You at sea now. You already at sea. You're not even on a vessel. Can't find the country, but you need a raft. Or you need a vest, or you're going to drown. So a lot of the Moors out here now, because we're coming from a lot of being battered through the education system, psychological coerce, social engineer. I mean, our women having babies that rampant, and what they doing is that through the legislative acts they passing, they doing what you call legalized trafficking of babies. The international law protects you from that if you got a country. If you claim to be from a country or a political organization which was given subject matter to be on the continent of the sovereign to run a government, therefore they was given land, it was conveyed certain sections of land for territorial reasons to enforce their own municipal law. And what happened is, they came up with a scam. This scam started getting hard when Lincoln got assassinated. What I mean, I said the cement started getting hard, they started coming up with a demise plan. We don't have no claim in land as a loading entitlement, either through blood pedigree or through treaty contract or conveyance. Only the crown had that, because our ancestors did business with these different crowns. Now let me say something so I can set the record straight. If you think that a European didn't come over here until the French got here and the Spaniards, you're sadly mistaken. Hello? Sadly mistaken. Because we was bringing them over here when our kings and emperors had them subjective. Before the Great War, Fall of Water was there. When the continent was still together. They were not served. Though they had kings, which the political organization called Europe now. It's a political, but it's really North Asia. That's all it is. It's North Asia. That's all it is. It's the children of Esau. That's all. From a melanated woman. It wasn't an Albion woman had them. That's why if you look at the first Europeans, they say they look like us. Them queens that run them tribes, they look like us. There were some Albions. So they've been coming over here doing commerce with us for a long time. Ain't nothing new. We had a problem now. We need a raft. Until we get the structure up and running, we need remedy. And all I can say to the Moors, I'm here to give you a remedy. You don't have to take it. The first thing you got to do is claim. You got to make a claim. The moment somebody stops you from making a claim, you can forget about it. You lost. The brother said to me right here, I got to go back. You got to do what? You may not have enough time what you talking about doing. When you come back looking for that, they don't throw another trick up there now. You back in line trying to prove this. And you back in line trying to prove this. You back in line trying to prove this. Got you trying to prove everything. When you gonna make a claim? How long it take for somebody to say they know they got inheritance? How long is it going to take to walk up there and claim your inheritance? If you're in your right mind, you be sitting in the room and they be talking about your forefathers, your heritage. You don't know who the hell you are. You can't claim nothing. Should I tell you when the brothers start talking about stuff, but you hear somebody say, there's a bump in the road, go around the other way, don't hit the bump. We all know our lives doing a lot of negative energy and information. Like the brothers say, that's a bump. That's a pothole. Get away from it. Don't hit the pothole. You know you ain't gonna drive on no pothole, no ditch. You doggone ain't gonna hit no bump and you get around it. Get from around that kind of stuff. This is what we need right now. Because these people just label us, not us. But the boys is out there, that's like Abdul said, just now coming into this, they got a lot of wrath, they're angry. And they got a right to be that way. Listen, when somebody been doing your people like this for a long time, and you wake up, you're going to be angry. But you need somebody here to tell you what to do.
Now, I'm going to give some life skills. What I just told Abdullah, I had some issues with some tickets back in 2000. See, this is how slick it is. When you ain't taking care of your financial affairs and you ain't do this right here, they will come and grab you. Don't say they won't do it. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. If you don't take care of this right and personally separate yourself from that trade name, they're going to come and get you. Because, remember, you have to remember, in the Dred Scott case, in the case of Pennsylvania versus Maryland, what happened? A woman escaped from Maryland, came to Pennsylvania. Look what they say. She was indentured servant. I mean, like they call it, usually connotated word slave. Let's say servant. She's put in servitude forever. She escaped. Look at the scatters they had on it when they went to the court. Negro. Now, she never escaped and say, I was a Moor, I was an Aboriginal, they took me. Then the treaty would have kicked in. You see what I'm saying, nobles? She ran, I'm speaking in general. She ran to Pennsylvania saying she was a nigger. Negro. She said, I'm an Aboriginal, I'm indigenous to the land, I'm a Moroccan, I'm a Moor. Case of indifference. They would have to bring in the treaty. I'm telling you my claims. Now I'm telling you because the brother asked a question. Make sure you make your claim. I'm telling you, I did it personally. And this brother can tell you, I had a brother act as my grand sheep. Thank the most I had a brother act as my grand sheep. Because, brother, they weren't playing no game. These people talking about putting me under the jail based on my nationality and based on my paperwork that I had. So, it's good? Okay. Based on my paperwork I had and based on my nationality, the policeman couldn't take the fact that I was putting him under gun. And every time he asked me, so I said, I owe no allegiance to answer you anything. Can you show me your nationality papers? You German? You Irish? You French? Show me something. If you say you're a United States citizen, you're only saying that you're a subject of one of them criminals that came from out of Asia. You come and say you're coming from the kinsmanship, got on a boat and got over. You're a refugee too. The only thing about it, they stick together and still try to apply that de facto constitution they got. They still hold to that document as a lifeline. And here you go as a Moor, you go and claim your damn nationality, you hold to the treaty. They've been claiming that since 17-something. And still to the day they go to war behind that instrument, that document. And you mean to tell me you can't grab a treaty and hold to it? Grab a treaty and hold to it and claim your nationality. Everything all right? So, let me get back to this. Can everybody see this board? Can you see the board? Yeah. Now, I'm going to put this out here for the more science temples and the groups and brothers and y'all come together. You try to get many of your people you can together, do it quickly. We don't have that much time. What I mean is that even the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People been endorsed by the civilized nations. And here's what the thing about it, you got to be a nation. You got to be a people, indigenous. We be coming to the place that we're not even considered indigenous or aboriginal. Because we're not willing to return to our country in our mind. And we scared. Or they're going to lock you up. They're going to come in, which they are. And it's a lot of sense. Let me tell you something, brother. Ain't never been a war, ain't been no captain. That's just how it is. Whether you like it or not. So I'm going to talk to the Moors about a life raft. First thing is separation of yourself. And let me explain what I mean by that. Separation of yourself is first when you know, draft up the document, get it to the proper people, and tell them who you are. Tell them you know the sins of their fathers, and you know the sins of your fathers, your mothers, what they did. And that you narrate why that was done. You're not going to tell me why that was done. I'm going to tell you because, like Abdul said, They're sitting up there with your birth certificate and all these documents that they're going to try to use against you. I told a brother already who went through that. They got him here. They're running around like he crazy. I said, I told you ahead of time to pay yourself for that. Because that's your nationalization papers. Your mother pushed you out in a foreign vessel, in a foreign jurisdiction. She never came in and said her blood pedigree. She didn't have a blood pedigree name. And she pushed you out and gave you one of their names. You become a European stock pedigree name. That name. So now you're nothing but a commodity. So now your body is held as surety. Now, let me explain something to you. In the national law, that's trafficking of children. That's against the law. But you can get away from it. You get away with it if that country don't say anything about it, which means the people are brain damage. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're making claim. You can get away with it because you said you hide it through legislative law. That's called de facto. You're hiding it through laws so nobody can smell it. They can smell. They can't smell the scent. It's just odor. The law hides it. Then it says voluntary because your mother goes down there and do that. So they said we're not held responsible for that. There's not a document saying we got to take care of these people, educate them. There's not a document saying we got to take care of their land. But it is saying that if the land is abandoned, they do its chief. They make an adverse possession claim. That's where that comes from. They make what you call an adverse possession claim. Wow, it's vacant, the land vacant. The people, minors, the infants, their wards. Why? They can't take care of their water. They can't take care of their woman. They're running, they're fleeing, and they want shelter. That's a refugee. And all these refugees around working a job, getting $100,000 a year, football player catching the ball, he's shooting the ball, he's nothing but a refugee. A refugee operating in an arena, getting a check. And they can throw him in jail, ruin his career when they feel like it, and cut his money off when they feel like it. Because he can't even control his own wealth. Then when he go and get deed to something, he ain't got title to it. Because he ain't got no status. He a Negro, black, and color, Afro-American. He ain't got no status. He claimed to be from people from the city on the other side of the world who ain't got no claim here to nothing. So he ain't got nothing. So they said, let him go ahead and do that. That way we got to worry about them doing science education and stuff, running universities, teaching their people how to take care of the land, teaching them how to do their woman. See, long they ain't going teaching, long they ain't claiming anything, long they're not trying to build the old waistlines, let them go and do that. That's like a dog show. Let me go see Harry. Come on, Rover. Get up there, Freddie. Act up. Jump up. Freddie, roll over. Do all the acts. That's all you, listen, I'm being for real. That's all you is, like a dog show. I like sports. I'm not going to lie. But that's a show. It ain't getting us nowhere. What is sports, basketball, or hockey gonna do for us? Some people look at you like you crazy. And people talking about threatening, hey man, these guys talking all this stuff, man. They gonna mess with our contract. You see that? You see that? Then turn your people against you. They'll turn your people against you because now they got a want for something that's destructive, that can't progress the people. So I'm getting to this now. Life raft. Now I'm actually helping the Moors out, Aboriginal people. Because I'm going to tell you like this, they can't help themselves. They're being labeled as terrorists. They say they got all these organizations. We read the 1856 treaty. She went back and interpreted the word. Noble Drew Ali knew what he was doing. Let me tell you something about people like you talk about Noble Drew Ali. You're going to get your own. In this life for the life to come, you're going to get your own because you ain't doing nothing. What are you doing? Where's your country at? Pull out your wallet, you got a state ID. You run around with a damn birth certificate and a social security card, and you talking about Noble Drew Ali. You run around here selling a man pies and papers, and you ain't got a damn country. Keep your mouth shut. You don't know what you're talking about. You got to go in their courtroom begging for some damn rights. Then you hire an Esquire to help you out. What are you talking about? What are you doing? If a foreign country comes with 1 million troops, you go running somewhere inside in the forest somewhere. Man, I'm staying up here. They're going to kill you. Them niggas ain't playing. They can kill everybody, you coward. You can't pick up a gun and fire it back, you damn coward. Shut up. Running your mouth. What you gonna do? Out there raping your woman in the street, you scared to death. Damn, I wish you had me a beer, some reefer. Damn, I can't even watch the game. They got the power, I can't watch television. You a social engineer, nothing. Be quiet. If that fits you, you know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna keep it real. Stop talking about your people. Noble Drew was our people. Stop talking about it. Man did something. Damn, you shoot the man Cain when he finding people like they was. They couldn't even accept what he brought them. That was potent. What he did in that time was amazing. Show me another leader that did it. Run around here glorifying all these other men because their skin got melon. A damn enemy. Enemy to their people. You know why? Because somebody got them in a learning institution, castrated them, gave them a reward, changed their mind. So they went along with the music, this dance. I don't like the song, but I'm going to dance anyway because they're going to pay me. Then you come along and show everybody else how to straighten yourself up and they start dancing. And guess what? 50 or 60 years go by, 80 years go by, no government, no elections, still going to jail. The only thing you did was taught a man to go inside the system and say, if you can't beat him, join him. That's what you did. Go to college, learn to be an attorney. We can make things different. Learn to be a senator. No, what you did was you went inside the system and said, if you can't beat him, join him. That's what you did. Because you went in there and trying to help your people. I'm going to pass a bill that we can't do nothing against Moors. People claim that you ain't did that, you ain't did nothing. Sell out. You know what I'm talking about, the ones that are listening. I know you may not like me. Make a difference to me. I wasn't born for you to like me anyway. I was born to eat off the earth. Drink the water. Love my mother to push me out. Love my father and love my people that's part of my blood pedigree and love the rest of the people on the earth when they act in unity with the law of nature and the law of the cosmos. Outside of that, you ain't nothing but an infidel. You want to take care of your land and stuff. When somebody else try to claim their nationality, they doing something wrong. You know what the problem is? We us. We out here doing stuff we ain't got no business doing. Like Abdul said, some of y'all get information and you don't get solid and get settled with it, mature, and then you go right out there and run and cause havoc. Man, I can draw without a license. No, you can't. Treaty don't. He said, I told Abdul that. He laughed. I said, tell me the treaty. He said, you get inside a vessel, and anybody, he said, anybody be aboard a vessel. He ain't say you own a vessel. What you doing a vessel?
That's right.
They got jurisdiction. You in a vessel with the title and the name of the car, registration number to the state, the manufacturer license under the state, everything entitled to the state. You in there driving, talking about, you can't stop me from traveling. The man ain't stop me from traveling. The man said, you in this vehicle right owned by the state. The state, in order to be that, you got to, if you driving that vehicle, you're a resident. If you're a resident, you're what? You're a refugee. If you're a refugee, you need a permit and a license. Now you arguing with the man. Now who's wrong? You said, this is my land. Our higher authority did an agreement contract with them. Made it clear. Passports, we get our own paper. Some of us don't even have our, brother argument, man, let me tell you something, man. This thing is real, this thing is hectic. We're in a bad situation here among ourselves, and we ain't trying to clean it up. I know we got jobs. Me and the sister here and all the way, we got the caucus, we building it. We talk about the Constitution of 5 nations. We're going to certify, we know what we got to do. The next thing is we got to worry about our people now. What kind of mindset they in? They going to be against us or with us? I'm not against the more science temples. I love my brothers at BI teaching the more science things. But we got a problem dealing with these de facto corporations and stuff. Remember, they were licensed to do this. They were trained to do this. They went to school to do this. That's their job. They wear a flag, war powers flag. They ain't operating under the United States Constitution. The only reason why they let that, they come into agreement with that to keep the people from going to war. I can't get mad at the Abians, Europeans that say, hey, listen, this is our Constitution, this and this. Our fathers fought for this. They just lied to them in school about the history, the way it happened. They're not telling the truth. Now you got it, sorry, from us, not from the crown, really. The crown, you ran from the crown. You try to fight your master. and you ran. You was considered as a refugee. You came to France. France said, hey, well, we got a problem. You go to France, which he know the king of England, and Great Britain, the king of France. So France do a treaty with Great Britain like this. You can't use that Pennsylvania. You can't say you New Jersey. So they got a problem. So they call themselves the United States. United Political Organization, the United States political groups. That's all he was. Then they came to the linen nappies. The linen nappies, the same one George Watt, the same one William Penn went through, never got a treaty from him. But just because William Penn said that he got that from him, the city of Philadelphia, people running around on nothing but just a puff of words. No document, no history. And he can get away with that because the original linen nappies was walked out of their territory, was considered the linen nappy territory, because the linen nappy was part of Morocco. It was called linen nappy Moors. They were walked out from the bottom of Florida to the top all the way to Oklahoma. That's why I said, if you're going to Moors, listen to me, if you're going to make a claim with the United States, use that treaty.
That's right.
And say, yes, and you can make a claim even in the Midwest because that's part of your domicile territory because that's your kinsmen. And you couldn't take this land anyway because it was guaranteed, a treaty. Self-executed, guaranteed means you can't take it. But you did what? You violate that treaty. Okay, since you did it, I'm here, I'm going to build, I'm going to take the claim, I'm going to slam my claim, I'm going to do this, I'm going to operate. How you do it is you go into the court because the federal court has to enforce that treaty. It's self-executed. The word guarantee of land is in there. Guaranteed. Where you going to run at? It's guaranteed. Then you say, if you're going to trial me, you got to have a deputy. And a jury of my peers. That's what the treaty say. Sure 6 jurors of my peers. Let it not be more. How are you going to convict this person? You can't do a damn thing. You stop. No. And then you got to show me that you are the state, that if you making a claim to the state of Pennsylvania or Delaware, you got to say that the state of the Republic of Delaware that signed the Constitution, that signed us with the United States, not the state in its de facto form. That's how you jam it. Meaning that they alter their Constitution, they abolish their sovereignty when they dealt with their constitutions. They abolished it. When you abolish, anytime you change your Constitution, and you abolish something that's the power of your Constitution, and revise it or say it's no longer, you abolish your Constitution. And the people don't even see it. But we Moors, we got a Constitution. This is talking about it all the time. She read it thoroughly. Because she ain't on the air blowing her brain. Oh, she got the yell. She's moving secretly. She's doing what she has to do to build a form, a structure on that. You don't go running your mouth out to your enemy or everything on the air like that. You better know what's going on. So the Moors got a problem. Many of your Moors out there today, you better find a way to get together. Oh man, I work doubles. You gonna find out, you gonna work your way that, breathing bad air, eating bad food, you gonna wind up right in the hostage house. That's where they gonna send you at. Because as time goes on, they will give you a shot, you go straight to a hostage house. They get rid of you. That's what they plans. That's just the truth. I'm telling it as it is. He said teach them law. I ain't teaching nobody no law. I'm gonna teach somebody how to deal with that problem that their mother did, and between now and when they're born right now, deal with that problem. Then you can deal with some law. You claim your nationality, get your mind back right, stay that way. Keep yourself. That's enough right there alone. And I don't want to know their laws. All I want to do is get the hell out of their system. Personal separation. I'm going to tell you how you do that. Y'all come together. Many of y'all Moors, listen to me, because the Moors ain't talking about this. And I'm not mad. You know, some of them teachers, there's some, you know, like I say, I told, you know, there's some information and ordination that come from the cosmos. And you can't do nothing about that. They're going to straighten it out when it's a problem. You run like all the worldly knowledge you can, but the cosmos step in and say, wait a minute, we got to straighten this. So what do? They go to the woman. They see something going to the woman. So what they do is while the woman got that inside of her, something get put inside the woman. So when a baby is born, it gets to a maturity, and that cosmo gift kicks in. They call it raw, the power of fire. It anoints that existence that's in them. That's that divinity that's in them. It anoints that, and then they have to go and do what it said. If it don't, they'll get destroyed. You said, they heard my brother so-and-so, man, he was deep, he was dumb. Man, he started messing with that woman. He turned into a drunk. He started shooting needles. He did. They cursed him. He wasn't no good. He didn't value what was put inside of him. He did a coward. He went another way. You got this. Once this put in, I can't turn back. I'm sorry. I can't turn back. There's nowhere for me to go. I couldn't live like this, man. I cannot wake up and work a 9 to 5. Talk about waiting for a pension. That's a nightmare to me. I'm gonna get a fully loaded gun and stick it way in my mouth and pull the trigger. That's suicide to me. I'm serious. Not telling nobody how to live. But what I know now, that would be suicide to me to live like that. I couldn't live like that. The Moors out here don't know what to do. So I'm telling the Moors, the Grand Chiefs already know to a degree they got the temples. Get many of these people to join the temple. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, join these temples. It's not gonna hurt you. When you join it, just speak your voice. Y'all come together and say, hey, listen, we have to do something. The first thing, you want a number. After you get a number, you create, like Nova Jewelry did, he created the national documents for them. Once he created the national documents, he does a patent from there. You can do your own patent from there. You don't need the United States. You just do your own patent from there. Mail it to yourself, do your own patent from there. Now you start doing what you call contracting now. Not rescinding the contracts. Learn how to use a trade name. Tell them what you're going to do with the trade name. That's why we have print some documents, a letter of correspondence. So, what happened? Explain to them what happened, what is it, who you are. See, do all that. See, you got the group. Then when you got the group together, you got your seal, you got the website up. That's when you could. That's how you become a political organization. You become a state. It ain't hard for us to do this. You can't get up to come in. Then you get about 300 or 400 people together. They won't. I don't understand, because you know a lot of people don't understand finance. I mean, let's just understand finance. Y'all need insurance. There's 300 of y'all. You got cars and stuff, right? Start setting up where you can get your car outside the state of Pennsylvania.
Or any state.
No. See, the United States is the parent. I'll show you the blue tags I got. They got a blue tag they give you for exemption, for your status. But people don't know about it. You do the group and you do that. Separate from these de facto states. Then your Grand Sheik or your minister, he acts as the what? The council or the deputy for you. So if you rely on a treaty that you made with the crown, where's the crown council at? Or the crown got a council here, right? This is Columbia. What you do? You get with the council. Who's going to stop you? Because he's here. This is what they stop you right here. So you want to get separated, and you want to say, so I won't get bothered once y'all got this group together. Because see, a lot of times doing stuff individually, they're going to come at you. You say, oh, we got this person by itself. Should they come with your birth certificate, social security card? Because you don't have a group with your dominant seal from your spiritual leader, with this seal stamp, tell them this is a ceremony, baptism name, through the fire, through the ceremony, on his nationality, and this is his trade name that his mother gave him, is not to be considered as a what? A flesh and blood, man or woman. It is only nothing but a fiction, a entity, to do commerce with the state as a vessel. It's a vessel, it's navigating for you. And then I can talk some stuff on the air, then you could come back when you get your standing, then you come in your groups and show you how you get your interest in your trust name and your name. Get your cargo. How to take your cargo, your assets that they've been using against you for so long and for their benefit. Now what happens then? Ain't nobody out here suing nobody. When it becomes a problem, what you do? Your counsel go to the state. Say, okay, your attorney general. I'm the counsel for so-and-so, so-and-so. I want you to appear in the federal court based on this treaty under a writ of quo warranto. Because now you have separated yourself personally, the group, because I want y'all to do this as a group. This is how you create a political organization, come together, and this is how you turn yourself into these states that's operating in the Moroccan Empire. Because the Moroccan Empire is a host of dominions and territories. I mean rings. R-E-A-L-M-S, and dominions. Rims and dominion mean host of countries and not only that, territory that's spread throughout all the earth. That's why the word S is there, say dominions, rims. I got something in there when George Washington was writing to the Sultans. Why George Washington used the word and your many dominions and rim. You know why? Because the United States, no, they was in Morocco, dominion and rim. So the next thing is planning your strategy.
Shem, hold on. Explain Corwanto. Where the Corwanto?
I'm going to strategy. That's going to be explaining the strategy.
I got you.
Planning your strategies. Here go Aboriginal Indigenous Moors group of 100. All 100 of them. Not all together. See, flood of course. Follow, separate them, flood them up. Let all 100 of them fly Corwarantos. By what authority do you have? Make the corporate state prove their authority. And when you do it, you say, this is not the state, the Republican, under the Constitution of so-and-so, what's been abolished by the states by creating their own new constitution. This claim is made against the de facto state of, now you're addressing it. You don't want them coming in like they represent the people that no, they're not in that capacity no more. They de facto. That's why the Supreme Court said that de facto corporation does have no authority and confer no rights on nobody, no demands. So that's what you want to hit them under. Because you want them to try to screw up and say, no, we have a right under the 10th Amendment. No. The Republican states have a right under the 10th Amendment. Prove that you're a Republican state. Prove it. Prove that you're a Republican state. You approve your Republican state based on your Constitution. Because the first Republican Constitution, that's going to determine your status. Anything after that, that's de facto. You just usurping authority. People just don't know what to do. Because they're working and you promise them stuff like that and you give them benefits, so they just think, hey, we have the right law. So the Corwaranto, when you challenge them, you have to serve them. You serve them. Now what happens? They prove their authority based on the treaty. They got to prove that treaty does not apply to you. They can't do that. They cannot do that. There's no way you can prove that treaty applies to, you can prove that it applies to the trade name. But that law that you got, okay, they apply to the trade name. But because I'm a CFO and I'm a national, the treaty kicks in. That don't even protects me, that protects my corporation. Because it's a vessel I'm using, navigating. I'm navigating commerce. And it said the treaty, any kind of commerce I got, you can't tax it or take it. So I got you that way too. That way you're going to knock your head with the treaty. That's why the treaty is so important. Knock their jawbones all around the world. Because the treaty, you claim the treaty. I got a case of a man died, he came from Switzerland. He wasn't going to claim to be no United States citizen. That would just naturalize him. But he had a treaty that he had a right to abide in as an alien. That's protected by treaty. So when he died, his family came up to get his belongings, his assets. The state confiscated them. We kicked in. The United States treaty with Switzerland. Self-executing. So in the state law, it talks about, when it got to section 13, talks about the treaty. That's the only part that meant something, is the treaty. Remember, the United States didn't give our ancestors nothing. We gave them asylum and amnesty. That's the first part. The only difference is, and look, we went around calling these people Rhodian blood, and we come from some of the, man, look at this here. We come to some of the greatest DNA ever assembled on earth. We come from some of the greatest celestial lineage with gifts given to us immortal existence. And we forfeit all that for a curse, for danger. Following some old false, little crazy stuff that these people sit in front of us and believe these majestic stories and opinions that they give us. And that's why we in the shape. Then they got our women screwed up. Then they make you nothing in front of your women, so your woman don't want you. I had a sister I sat with, and she said something about the men, and I wanted to say something too, but damn, she was right. And the woman was 100% right. It made me feel bad. I feel bad sitting in front of her. She made that statement. And she said, no, I all members, majority ain't nothing. And she was right. Because after they don't carry the baby for 9 months. They don't breastfeed the baby. They don't go through all this stuff. They think it's just doing that and go out there and take care of their business. They ain't that. So, the plan, your strategy is, y'all come together and challenge them in federal court, beat them. They'll lose. Now, what you just did, you just established a red judicata. Now, you don't have no problem with them in the future forever. Because that will act as a judgment against them, an injunction. That would act as an injunction against every state you go at, that treaty. That's why they don't want you to claim the treaty and try to lock you up. Because what they're operating is abducting of babies. They set up a system so they can do it, not be disguise themselves through government legislature. So now they're always trying to come up, we're going to implicate more better plans. No, you're a child abductor. But they can get away with it because ain't nobody of that government country protesting against it to the Hague. Once it happens, they stop. They stop your women from coming into your hospitals unless they sign a waiver. And believe me, well, the way we going down, they're going to pick up the killing rate faster with the medicine and all that kind of stuff. So we're in a bad situation. You know, I hear a brother say this to me right here. He said, I don't believe in a spook. Guess what I told him? You don't believe in a spook. Who believe in you till your mother pushed you out? Who believe in you when you were in your mother's stomach? When the seed was there and the existence came, the breath of life came into the woman's stomach, who the hell was you then? When that baby started growing like this and she pushed him out, oh, now you see her. That was invisible is visible now. So there is a spook outside of your eyes. When it get cold out there in the wintertime, you see the wind, you put a jacket on, don't you? That spook got you wearing a jacket? Wait a minute, the spook got you wearing a jacket? You can't, can you see the windows? The only time you see it with a whirlwind, right? Twist it up, twist it up. Or a hurricane. Then it let you see a body, it let you see a form of its destruction power, like a fist. Outside of that, it just blows. And here you go talking about, I don't go out there naked in the wintertime. I don't believe in no spook. No, he's going to say, go and get that man off the corner and put him in another house before he freezes to death. Out there below zero, talking about you don't believe in no spook. I don't believe in the wind. I can't see it. That's all right. When they come back there, you'll be just like this. You ain't got to believe in it. That's evidence. You got to see it for evidence for it to be there. Just like you go to work. Oh, man, I'm making $500 a week. Man, I ain't got to do nothing. Why you waiting a week? That's 7 days away. Come on now. Stop playing. See, we need to stop playing games, these mind games with each other. And keep it on the real. Go ahead, somebody ask a question?
Yes, I believe you're answering it, but just to ask L. Rose Razin says, what do the Moors need to do to make the corporate, I believe she meant corporations, obey the Constitution and treaties? But I think that's what you're kind of telling us now, the things that we need to do. But I may be wrong.
No, I am. But I'm addressing the thing about how majority say enforce the Constitution. You know how you force the Constitution? Be a country. Be in the blood. Be in the lineage and the steps of your ancient ancestors to sign a treaty. Be the descendants of the Days, the Bays, the Aleens, the Alis, the Choctaw, all these indigenous people. Be in their blood lineage and claim it and have a structure of unity. Then you can make them force the Constitution, because what you can do now, your council or your government body, you do government relationship, and they can point to that right there and hold their head under the water. You gotta do what that say. That's the ground authority for your existence, not for me. We already exist. You put that in there to show your rights. So if somebody question your corporate authority or your corporate delegation of power, then you can say, whoa, wait a minute. We signed treaties with Morocco. We signed treaty with the... Let me explain something to you. You know what the United States do before the World Court? They prove their sovereignty about their power to not be bound to treaty with our indigenous people. And they was right. They said, wait a minute, we got the people of the land gave us treaties. We ain't in no wrong. We signed treaties with them. They right. They told the world body that. They didn't tell no lie. The United States told the truth then. We signed treaty with the people, the countries of this continent. That given, they ain't win no war and got nothing. They ain't take nothing. They was given peace as a friend to be here, do something. And we got to come together in peace and make them remember that. That's how you do that. So, your plain strategy, I told you, when y'all come together, look at these, I'm going to show you something. You got the construction unions. You got these mass unions of all these people. And she vouched for this. They make them give money every week.
What?
Every month. Guess what? You know what they're doing with that?
No voice.
They taking that money, they piling up as a collateral fund, and they going out here creating all kind of surety bonds. They didn't want to create these insurance companies, and to turn right around and see what's insurance, they own the company. And then they make you sign for the insurance, get your social security number, get your birth. I ain't gonna go too deep in that, because I go too deep in that. You know what I mean? That's something for in-house stuff. I'm not gonna put the United States and these corporate business out here on the air like that. I do have that much respect for them.
I don't.
Well,
I'm not bad.
I'm gonna say this right here. The Moors and Aboriginal people need to come together and discuss this among themselves and do it. The United States will go out here putting their private committees that make their laws and legislative laws and their bills. They don't put these bills out here to the public. They put them in private, pass them, and have an election. Have a vote on them.
It's called a PAC.
That's right. These insurance companies, I can tell you what the insurance companies do right away. They get money, they can create this, listen to me. They can create in one day, have it all wrapped up and have a bond. Have it all wrapped up and have a bond. But am I going to talk about their personal? No, what I want to do is, I want our people to help ourselves and do it for ourselves. I'm not getting mad at nobody out there because they doing. They got an army. They got a Marine. They got defense. Look at this here. Who's enforcing all that? Us. We don't want to join them because under mind control. You think that this is the only way you won't fit in and do anything, but you can't do it for yourself. So what happens is baseball, football, basketball can bring together nationalities that love each other, and you can tell them you can't love a person based on they honoring their forefathers, ancient foremothers and forefathers, and loving the land and loving their land and their kinship and their house and their clan. They got that like that stupid now. That's back when they, oh, come on, everybody, nobody want that. But they honor football. Everybody, these people making plenty of money.
Oh, my team is this.
Go on, listen to it. Season tickets, paying for the web stuff. You giving these people billions and billions and trillions of dollars, and these are your children playing, and we ain't got the country, we ain't got nowhere. And guess what? When they donate money, they give it back to they give it to the system that's pressing against us. Ain't nobody going to honor you and respect you until you honor yourself as a people.
That's true. That's true.
So I just said, personal separation, planning your strategy is coming together. Now, y'all two brothers came ahead, y'all learning. Y'all supposed to create a learning group. Anytime a man can sit down and watch a basketball game, a football game, a fight for 2 or 3 hours, and you can't come together at least about 3 days a week to learn and sit down and learn your laws, to learn the old maths and stuff like that, that's a mental problem. I'm gonna tell you something. You ever see a person that say he's slow or she's slow or they feeble? You feeble. They made you feeble, but you're a functioning feeble person or party. That means you functioning, but you have no knowledge of really what to do and when to spend your energy and your mind thoughts of learning. You don't know where to direct your mind at, your direction. So a con is being gun on you right before your eyes because you're not willing, you're lazy. King Solomon said something about a lazy man and woman. He said it leads to ruin. Then he said, I believe, brother, he said lazy man and woman leads to ruins. What makes you lazy? Not willing to learn about your people, your laws and stuff. What protects you? Worried about, well, they say this. I don't care about what they say. They ain't gonna listen to you. You go into their school system to, hey, listen. Y'all better listen to us and start teaching our more science stuff. And just get this nut out of here. They'll call you a terrorist. He terrorizing our school, coming in here with this stuff. You know why? That's not their system. That's not for them. So we're supposed to be the same way. Listen, we don't want to learn your de facto history. we're teaching to our kids as a fourth means of foreign history, but not going to teach them that. That's not for them. Because to teach them that they came off a boat, to teach them that they're Negro, black, and colored, is teaching a scam of called apartheid. That's apartheid. You're taking away the development of the baby in the child's mind to come into his own to protect his land and his people, and also to come into his customs and his rituals and festivals. That's his piety and deity. They took you till you're still at it. So the plan, your strategies to come together. I tell everybody, y'all come together, y'all meditate together, y'all reflect your energy. Sit there in the room, look around, keep your eyes open, just meditate, think. Open your mind up to the cosmos. Then you look at the history and what we can do for ourselves and what applies to us to protect ourselves. Then when you get it together, y'all create a fund. Because y'all don't want to put the burden on yourself, on your one, pocket. You fuck court fees. You want to be traveling somewhere. Somebody go fly somewhere, find something, do something, deposit something. You have your fee. You got 100 yards. Y'all should be able to put $100 up every month. That's the fee. You got a fund now, and it never go dry. If you see a building laying desolate, you need it for something for function before the foreigner come and get it. You step in and get it. Y'all got the fund. If you got to increase it another $100, the creases say, well, we're going to go and we're going to take it and turn it into a business with, though he may come and pull out $300,000 or $400,000 out of the community. But no, we're going to build that store. We're going to do that and get our own money for our people. Then now we got a bigger fund. So you want to have your ecclesiastic soul corporation set up, the minister, the elders, your whole clergy set up. All the members come in or consider part of that ministry. That means all their belongings is to that corporate soul. You create the trusts. You create all the other organizations you need by the creation of the corporate soul. This is how you get the layway. Now, when something go wrong, you go right to court and file a quo rant all y'all together, separately, each claim. Now you got them under the gun now. When you talk about moving about traveling rights, they start trying to run this. Oh, these people are good. The J Treaty say we guarantee the travel to Canada in all the domain of the crown. What's the problem? What you doing with a license? What you doing with a passport? That's the treaty. Go ahead, Tamara.
Islam, I have a question. Now, you mentioned about educating our people, our children, and things of that nature. Now, what would you say, what educational message is being sent with the propaganda? I don't want to say propaganda. I don't want to use propaganda. But with the new return to Ghana movement that is taking place, what type of educational message is that?
I'm gonna say this right here. If you claim to be from Ghana and you want to go back to Ghana, go ahead. I just hope when you get there, you be treated right. That's all. But the Ghanaians are more too. Ghana is a political territorial name given by the French, the British and stuff. That wasn't called Ghana back then. That was part of Morocco. But it was called ancient names. But this is part of the Bombay states. You go so further, matter of fact, that was part of Egypt. Kemet. That was all Egypt territory. And Egypt was what? Part of Morocco. Listen, absolutely. One time the whole world would have died if they wouldn't want Egypt. Kemet. They had all the week because it was famine in the whole earth. So the cosmos only blessed Egypt with food to feed the whole world. They'll never talk about that.
I do remember reading that.
Pharaoh got a vision from the cosmos. Pharaoh had a vision from the cosmos. He did not understand what that vision was. See, that's our history, man. I ain't worried about what these Greeks talking about. I'm talking about that's our history. To show you that we was visited by the celestial realm. We was given visions. The wonders on the earth, what's coming, because they control everything. They control everything. So he had a man from a foreign nation that had the lineage in him. Now, I'm going to talk about it. There is Ra-El. Look at the word, that word. Is Ra. The power of celestial El. Minister, prince, ruler. There was a Israel in Egypt. Yusuf had the rod working with him to what? To see, to interpret what? Visions and dreams. Even under old Israel, the women, the prophetess, was able to see dreams and interpret stuff. We lost all that stuff, man. She could tell something was going on ahead of time. Go ahead, brother.
I'm sorry. I have a question about that. Since you said that, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but is it possible that that could still be, that that's still in existence with us?
Yes. I told Tamara that before. Listen, before we had this, we started this. Everything comes through the woman. Let me tell you, the man told me one time, I want you to hear this, brother. This man is a Jehovah's Witness telling me about, well, it's really not the woman. I let him talk. I'm listening to him doing like this. Now, when he got finished, the only answer I can give him was a solid foundation of my ancestors. I said, brother, there was a plan from the hierarchy in the cosmos for the celestial Lord. I want you to hear this. To come down, to take away dominion from the lower archy that got cast out. They call it the lower rim. They got vanished into the lower area and take authority because couldn't nobody do it. Because he was the Lord of all celestial divinity. He said, I'll do it myself. Look what he needed. A woman. You want to hear this?
Oh, definitely.
He needed a woman. He could have went to the earth and made something. He said, I ain't got to do that. That's everything I made right there. All my gifts go through her. Any man, a woman born with a gift, come to a woman. And you see how important that is? Yeah, we got it. You know what the problem is? We're not taking heed. Our minds, we've been turned to another direction. They don't want to tell you about the great royal tombs we have over here in this side of the world that they can't even find. They're looking for them. They're looking for them so bad they can't find them because they was hid. It was buried. Solomon Temple, the greatest temple that's ever made. Down in what? South America. Yes.
There's two questions from the same person, so. But William Langford Austin says.
Yeah, I just read it. I just read it.
First question was, or statement, why purchase a building on your own estate, your soil, sending the message that this continent is not your ancestral estate? And then he says, you can't talk ancestral estate and then use colorable money to purchase real property. Contradiction. You cannot unfact a fact.
Answer to him, yes, and let me explain that. You see, you have to understand, we born under a condition. We pushed out under a condition. Now, if you can't understand that something must be wrong with you, you're going to tell me that these people have not been in servitude, forced in the education system, voluntary, social, under psychological coercion and social engineered, and taught on purpose against their ancestors' will, taught about their state, and then by being in that mindset, the state became abandoned. And now the United States has hopped our state and now using our people's bodies as sureties. And you say the fiat money, the Federal Reserve note, is not real money. It's a promissory note. He's promising to pay something back. So if you're going to use it in your wallet and you give it to somebody and you promise them to pay something back, you're not committing fraud. I owe you nothing. I'm giving you this note and get the hell out of my face. I see that go for you if you're a Negro, black, or color. You got to pay. Yeah, you promise to pay that back. But if I use it, I'm giving it to you as a what? Legal, as tender. And under nationality claims, I don't have to pay you nothing back. Let me explain another thing too. You don't have a government. You don't have an army. Go out there and try to take a piece of land. They're going to blow your brains out. Or they're going to shoot you down like a dog because you don't have your government structure up. You're not recognized with the world bodies as even being a country, and you don't have a military force. So why would I go out here and say, this is my land, anybody come on and blow their brains out, I'm an Aboriginal on this. You know what I just did? I just committed suicide. That's somebody that I do give you credit, you know who you are, but you don't have this. Plan your strategy. You never had a strategy. You went to war without a gun, a spear. You don't control your water. So what do you have to do? You have to get yourself in place where you can make a demand what he just said. Once you get in place, now he's right. But he had to consider this right here. Can't nobody do that. After all that we went through, we have to first establish ourselves. You mean you don't know the book of Art of War? You don't even know who your enemy is.
Thank you.
You better learn who your enemy is. First enemy is not knowing.
That's you.
Your mind. You ain't got your mind. So ask yourself a question. See the power brokers put the uniform commercial code in for a reason. Because they ain't want to be, they ain't really got to use the promissory note. She deal with bonds, they use bonds and letters of credit. That's a negotiable instrument backed by what? Some kind of energy or real substance. Now, what they run it off is the energy. We like a production plant of energy. They run it all they vessels off our energy. We are the engine, meaning that our energy. We put in our intellectual property, our talking, our signature, our power, thinking. We're running their corporation for them. Becoming involuntary servitude, we have to get out of that mindset. Then we can do what the brother just said. Come back without the promissory note and get what we want through bonds. Because that's why they collapse and everything. The United States don't have, that's why they send the Indians to go to the Bureau of Indian Affairs to get federal recognized so they can go ahead and write bonds and turn around and tell the Indian, hey, go down and get this back, get this money. Why they do this? Then why they take the funding and send it overseas to fund their own private commerce. And then turn around and use some of the money to keep us social engineered, psychological coerced, that we can't come out of the system. That's what's going on. Let me say something. You better recognize what you're scared of. There's got to be something you're scared of. And you eat like that, you're a refugee. The international definition gives you a name. Refugee. It's a world round of fear. World round of fear. Oh man, I ain't gonna do that, man. So they put out all these devices. Or go down and get your blood test. Or go down, hey. So when you get a test, every time you get a test, they give you a false premonition and say, well, we told you. They could bring that in evidence. Say, well, you came to us. Now watch this. See, that same blood sample that you got, that's over here too in Mexico. See, that's the part they want you to say. Somebody else, well, that's over in Mexico. That was there before the Romans conquered over here. That's part of the bloodline of Canaan. It's Phoenician bloodline of Phoenician. Also part of the bloodline of Chaldeans. Also the bloodline of Egypt, ancient Egypt, and Ethiopia, and Asia. People, nations of Asia. Now we're talking about bloodlines now. Oh yes. So you telling me that same chromosome is right in, but why you just point to that one side of the world? You running a fraud. But watch this. See when somebody look like they're almost like the Albions and high yellow. Hey, how many yours is it? Okay, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you 1,500 acres down there. We're gonna give you every year for lot for your acre stuff. We're gonna give you $13 million a year. That should be enough to take care of y'all. Y'all get free school. We know it's y'all land. We respect y'all. Y'all have to pay for no college. You don't pay for nothing. Why they doing this?
You shut you up.
Because you got the mutation blood sample they got. We're dealing with stand cannot be done until we come together and build structures. Infrastructures and structures so we can come among ourselves and do this. We don't have to argue with nobody. We got enough people got degrees and stuff. They know about a lot of this stuff. Just get the structure, get the standing. And the thing about it, just get the group. You'd be surprised what you can do if you come together probably in 2 or 3 months as a group and raise finance among yourself. Come together, come together, sign documents, come together, be doing stuff. You'd be surprised what you can do when you get that standing. Audits, county audits, Well, you know what? God damn, what? How we getting all this? Now, we're not buying back our land. We're in a situation right now, because I go through this with him sometimes. And I tell him, look, we're in a situation. You know this. You have to get some, we have to get, if this is what's going on now, this fiat, there's nothing wrong with using it. I ain't throwing away my nationality using this money. I threw away my nationality not to with the international court say, well, round and fair. Don't want to claim your nationality.
That's right.
Just advance yourself on your country. You divest yourself on your country. That's when you're doing yourself a harm. Because once you get your stand and start doing that, you can write your own tenders. Somebody said, oh, I want to print my money. For what? You got the Uniform Commercial Code. Write bills of exchange, write bonds. You don't know about this finance system. You will make somebody kill you. Because what you're going to do on a high sea, what they call, you're causing friction on a high sea. And when you cause friction on a high sea, the vessels lose control and they ram into each other. That's what they call a distraction in currency. The word currency they call money comes from the word flow. Flow of currency, flow of water. Current. Flow of current. So you out there doing commerce and you'll damage their vessel, meaning their interest. When you damage their vessel, what's on the vessel? Cargo, merchandise, worth what? Value. So when you out there trying to, I'm going to make more money, I'm going to do that. What you just did? You violated the treaty because it said the money should be in the same footing as the money in Spain. Why would the emperor say that? Because Spain was part of our territory.
Go get those pesos.
That's right. Because the Moors put the value in their money. They didn't create that.
That's right.
So he knew that. Why he said it could be the same value as this over here down in South America? He said no, Spain. So you see what I'm saying? It's how we want to do it based on our sovereign claim. We got to worry about ourselves now. We're the thing now. We got to worry. Ain't nobody got nobody. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that we do. I was going to say so I'm not going to say that. We got to go ahead and stand upon authority pertaining to the treaty. Let me see what that means. Yes, go ahead.
Someone says, Yahya Salam says that they have a movie out on what you just explained, and it's called, on Netflix, called Snowpiercer.
Yes. Now, let me say something. A sister told me yesterday, she into the same stuff y'all in astronomy, you know what she said? She said there was nothing but a snowstorm coming in Philadelphia. Nothing. She said, when I contact you, we had it. She said, I'm not lying. When I met with you, she said, I seen the clouds do like this. And it sparked. She said, all that snow, because you remember it snowed in Philly for a while, like ice. She said, listen, there was nothing to forecast. She said, I'm well into that. She said, but I believe that when I went to meet you, that cosmic force is flowing like this, like it's an overwhelming thing, and they start giving out the ice. She said, because it was nothing about no bad weather. I said, you know what, sister, that's what people have to get back to, believing in what our ancestors, that's why they was able, the fountain of youth, all that stuff you hear about, you step in the water, all your diseases gone, they come from our ancestors. That came from us. Water springs that come out, you know, some of them get leprosy in their skin, you know, they lose their melon, they go ahead and wash up in the water, do something, the disease go away. Where do you think that came from? Like, those stories came from our ancestors. Those stories come from my ancestors. You go into the land of the West, look. You go to fight them, look what they say. That's why it's called the land of the gods. You fight against the celestial realm. They come down and fight, kill you. That means what? They got someone fighting in wars. We just got to get back to being spiritual people, coming together. Like I say, it should be no problem for people to come together now. You're going to have to, because you got to plan your strategy. You got to stand on you got to stand upon the authority pertaining to the treaty. See, let me say something. It ain't no time to worry about this, Harry this, or they throw Monkey Rich over here. It comes down to this. Personal separation. Start in your mind. Let me tell you I mean personal separation so you know what I mean. Abraham had many wives in the land of Canaan. I'm going to share what the woman is. This thing here. Those wives was not charity, but they're from the land of Canaan. But look what he did. when them wives had them sons and them daughters, you know what he did? He gave them a gift. That gift was a reward, cattle. And he sent them off and gave them a piece of land, the clean land. Why was that? Because they couldn't have inheritance with the full-blooded woman. That was a charity. But so he looked out for his offspring, he looked out for the woman. Now, that woman, even the seed that she had, that comes from his lineage. So she always can return and make a claim. Even if her offspring don't, she always can come. Yes, when you lock up with a woman, she have your baby, she always can come in your land and make a claim. Yes, she can. So, we have to personally separate ourselves from worrying about what they're doing. Don't even talk about their business. Let them do their business. Listen, that's what they doing. Let them do it. Let us do it. Personally separate ourselves. We can't walk around in animosity against each other. If a brother did something, forgive the brother. That fought, forgive the brother. Everybody gonna make a fault. You gonna make a fault. You want somebody to forgive you? Forgive us. Let's forgive each other. Let's start to learn how to trust each other and look at our attributes that make each other better. For one brother, we try to lift him up, build him up, make him better. That's what it's gonna come down to, helping each other. Don't walk around and look at a woman because she got 7 kids and say, oh, she enough for the tramp, the trick and all that. No, that's not true. She has 7 kids, took 7 men to make them babies and I lay with her. Well, what about them? I take my hat off to her. She's still carrying her 7 children around, taking care of them. As the best she can, without a nationality, without them stripping her, with her psychological identity. That woman is still home strong with 7 children. So that woman needs to be comforted, taught, so she can pass that down now to give it the nutrition part mentally to her offspring. So they won't go into they won't make the mistakes that she made, or they won't go into the system he sacrificed through psychological uses. Somebody put this electric shocks, somebody foaming them out. That's what they do in the school system. They're putting lies and falsehood on you, and they do the same thing. The man will put electric shocks on you. Only thing he said, we can't shock him with electric shocks, is giving false information, lies and trickery. That's what they're doing. So we have to come together, stand upon the authority pertaining to the treaty. There's some treaties that self-executed. Like I told Tamara, there's some treaties that I feel like getting a baseball bat, beating my ancestors up so bad, the queens and kings, I couldn't believe that they signed something like that. They had to have been drunk or high. I'm telling you. And then she said, that's right. Or be what? Put into it. And we was, and I'm going to say this right here. Our ancestors was put in some situation where they was at war. And let me say something. The enemy wasn't whooping the ASS. It was our own people. To the fact that they turned to the European Albion and say, what you want to do? I don't care. They get kamikaze. That's what Mexicans did. The Mexican states, the Moors. The word Mexican up at a Moor too. This is a mixed Moor that got this got, raped in the language in the school, took away their rights. Then they became Mexicans. They Moors. Look how mad they got in one of their treaties. And far as the Indians, the other American savages, why would you call your people that? You're warring with them. And yet in a treaty, a Camp Home treaty, when all the real major nations came together, you see that treaty, all of them gathered together because you know why? All them treaties being made by them bands. They never say the Republic of Mexico. They were the brother. They said, look out for our red band brother, the Republic of Mexico. Then they said, I never said the treaty. They didn't call them savages or nothing. So you can see we going to war against each other. See, they don't want to tell you, we were selling our people slavery, tribes, clans, by the millions. He talked about that, by the millions. And you wonder why they grow up, 70 years go by, the next generation grow up, because they taught that the Moors, everybody sold in slavery, did sold in servitude, so they grow with animosity, anger. So they come back and fight on the side of the French, the Spaniards, or the English, or Germany. Come right over here, go down to Africa, then they throw you out there. First thing they do to get you out their kingdom, their nation. All their nations in Europe. They throw you out of there, first run you out of there, your stronghold. Then you down in Asia, got your stronghold in Asia. What happens? The Moors start turning on each other.
Brothers against brothers.
Weak sultans come in that probably didn't have a right to the throne. Look what happens. Through North America and South America to a frenzy. Start contracting where they have zones. Start signing treaties. And then when these people get in here, what do? You help them out. They help to hurt your own people. So a lot of this crippling is by us. They just responsible. The worst of it came after Lincoln died. In the early 19th century, they started the father school system. That's the real damage. When they started that father school system rolling, oh my. They went to the far, they groomed Martin Luther King, but see, he woke up before he got assassinated. His eyes came open. He made his last speech. They don't even talk about that. He said, "I come to you to plead with you tonight. Believe in yourself and believe that if you somebody." I said to a group last night, nobody else can do this. Come on, he was telling. He knew what time. Well, he said we know what Gerardi was doing. Take a pen, a self-proclaimed man. Yes, you got to reach to the inner. You know what he's talking about now? The existence that's in you. And he said, proclaim with a pen, a self-proclaimed manhood, an ink. He said, sign something. He's telling you to write. In other words, tell them on paper who you are. That was what Drew Ali was doing. Know what Drew Ali say? These people are the ancient people of Morocco. And he's right. Because when Lot wanted to go to war with the people on that side, he had to go to Egypt, Kemet. So he had to ask the Pharaoh, could he cross the land and get over permission? See, in ancient time, you want to travel somewhere, you got to ask the emperor for permission or empress or queen. Who will run that land or they kill you. So you got to ask permission. So we got to get back to ourselves. Fear. Ain't nobody got no business being scared of another man. Ain't nobody living is supposed to be scared of another man. Because I don't care who you is. Like my uncle, he dead and gone. He died, he's 87. He said, listen, everybody going to the falls one day. Now I understood what he was talking about later on. The falls mean you change. When your inward existence leave, you change. Watch this. You go to the cosmos and you be relief. You know why? Because you said, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that this is the real, no second, no time, no minutes? That's the reality. The only thing about it, what are you going to do when you get there? When you have any communication or knowledge of it, what are you going to do when you get there? You thinking that it's just open. No. So you say you got law here? It's law here. It's legislative law. How get in? You think you going to roll free? I'm going to do what I want to do. Don't go that way. Don't go that way. Doesn't work that way. We just got to come together among ourselves. Like I told a brother here, Brother Deep here. That's why I love it. We get deep. And he go to the opposite part. I know sometimes I'll be like, man, but damn, he's right. You know what they're going to do. See, because he see beforehand the scheming and the conniving these people, what they're going to do. They need some ammunition. So they got to work with something. So you got to be able to know what they're going to work with so you can cut them off when they get there. So we got to separate. Where's one of the things it say? Come ye out, be separated. You got to be separated. And another separation is separate yourself from being called that trade name. Separate yourself, because I said this right here. If you don't know how to operate that trade name, you have a problem. You can keep your license. And you also do follow things and say, I can't put that on my spiritual leader, I can't put that on my thing. Mm-hmm. And if they don't even have a law, they got to do it by, you got to do it with the exemption. You got a right to that anyway, because that could be your spiritual faith. They say the state can't pass a law. Now they say, well, we got a law, you got to have your faith. You violate the law. They say the state can't pass no, say Congress can't pass no law. You're passing the law telling me to put my face on something. No, I can't do that. That's how you win. You go to court and you make them take your face off there. Because a lot of laws got it. In my state, they got it. You want to put your picture on that. I probably have it in Delaware. You know, to put your picture on a state ID card. So the bottom line is, forward rancho. Y'all come together, a lot of y'all. That's how you're going to talk. You want to travel. Go in court and say, I have a right to travel, I have a right to any vehicle I buy, I have a right to it. I have a right to have it anonymous, off the commercial list, and the savage list. I have a right to have it in my name for title, interest based on the treaty. Make them default them before you get in the car. If you want to drive a car, just get the license and drive the car until you beat it. Then you can drive with either one you want, your nationality ID or your trade card ID. But beat them in court on a treaty. That's what it comes down to. We working some structures and putting some things together. So all the different more science temples and groups can come together and sign as a political band. What I mean is that y'all should be, what I'm saying is that they copied off of us. I'm going back to the Iroquois Confederacy with all nations signed. I just don't want us saying we this. I want to see somebody at Oscar conventions and saying your political organization sign that you somebody with a Lord of respect, of Lord blood. Claim it anyway, it's yours. They claiming it.
They sure are.
Sign it, just get it ready, it's up there. Now what we got? We got a structure. This brother got to stay over here. This group got to stay. This group got to stay. Remember, they didn't start out as a group. They didn't leave with the governor ran with them and the whole assembly. They didn't run. It was a group of them that started the war was running. It wasn't no assembly and the governor ran with them and everything. They was a political group.
That's it.
That's why when I was on the board in Allegheny one time, and George Bush was going to be president, and I was talking out there, meaning we got a deep conversation. And there's a tall lady with blonde hair was a professor, dean at Temple. She said, excuse me, can you come down to Point Penn Landing and be on my platform? Because I'm listening to you. And she said, you talking deep stuff. You right. I was talking about, she heard me. I told her, I said, William Penn don't have a document. Well, we standing now to shake him at him. This man went to a Nationality king and queen and said, can I build a municipality? The reason why, because he built it, it was outside even the reach of the crown. Yes. Because the king was involved, a foreign nation. The city of Philadelphia is really outside the grips of the crown. But William Penn went back. William Penn, they made it clear, anything that you get, you're a subject. That's the crown's on too. So the crown got jurisdiction too. But we have jurisdiction here, but we don't claim it. And we can't claim that in the court because the United States don't have anything to do with that Nationality William Penn deal that goes directly to the crown. See, this is why I know real jurisprudence, real positive law, where the jurors consulted to point to. When you going to the state, what are you doing? What are you doing to Nationality people going to the United States on a William Penn agreement? The United States ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't talking about no Nationality treaty. I'm talking about something I'm going to the crown with. Hey, listen. Your subjects are operating in Morocco. Gave William Penn a grant. There's no document proving that. All these people is on our land. What are you going to do about it? How could you rule? You ain't got jurisdiction. But you know what you do? They said, we got to commit a fraud here. We got a problem here. They're going to affect our interest. They're going to affect your interest. That's why you say these dummies brought in my court. These dummies. They ain't no jurisprudence. They know about the positive law. Because they didn't never brought that claim in this court.
Right.
That had been brought toward the council of the crown, and they will be sitting there meeting with you, the property council. They got a problem here, because he is right. The 1763 proclamation say that nobody in the rim can own land or take land anymore. That's called positive law. See, I'm talking about remedies. I'm not going to sit up here and talk about all this other stuff, and you ain't going to get nowhere. You can get out the system. You ain't gonna personally separate, you ain't gonna plan your strategy, and you're gonna stand upon the authority of the treaty, because you ain't gonna try to build no structure. That's what it comes down to. Building structure. You wanna be, we going to Australia, she read the treaty, 1856, we go in Australia and buy land, we can have our own municipal law, we do any living, we gotta pay nothing back. Go in Canada, do the same thing. Go down here anywhere in the British dominions. Now, when I say the British dominion, I'm talking about Wales, France, Scotland, Ireland, Australia, Canada. If I had some time and if I could put it up, I would show you UCC 1. I let her see it. She knows everybody been hopped already. The original United States that was established in Philadelphia, the District of Columbia that moved, the Defense Department, the Accounting Department got an international lien for what? 14 trillion, 14 quadruplets? First, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Quadruplets, then they go into the trillions, then they go into the billions. Do you know what that is?
And utilities.
That means that you don't reach $900 billion. That means you reach $900 trillion getting quadruplets. She read the UCC 1. People don't even know nothing about that. It said all men with real legs in it, arms, in all astounding states, towns. And watch this. Nobody paid attention. When they put that lien on them, we got the map of the real world, didn't we? And I'm going to tell you something. They keep telling you Australia's down south. Australia's sitting up in the north. Somebody said, what? But it's called the north. Not to who? To who opinion? According to who? Just like they tell you the earth, listen to me. Just like they tell you, this is how they get you the semantics word. When you say the earth is flat, look what somebody say. The world ain't flat. I ain't talking about the world. The world is the globe. I'm talking about the water and the earth. It's flat. The globe that goes around the earth goes like this. It's impossible. You tell me the earth is bent like this? That doesn't mean gravity. That doesn't mean gravity. Then you go to the book of Revelations, shall see the angels stand in the four corners. Corners are flat. Ain't no round earth. Ain't no round earth. The earth ain't bent like no bow. When you say the earth is round, you're saying I got ball of paper like this. Give me a baseball, give me a plastic ball, big plastic ball, let me throw it in the water. Then you telling me the earth is like that. You telling me the earth is just like that. Then I mean you have to go all the way up, which cameras already show, when you look down, the earth sitting like this, flat. Earth is sitting like this, like a ball. So they're told us a false philosophy. The globe is round, but not the earth and the water. We've been told a lot of lies. I said the earth, not the world. Listen to my words. I said the land is not like a round ball. You know why I say that? Because that means when you build houses, I can pull that theory on the land. If I go to a mountain and I go to build something on a mountain and the mountain is round like this, what I do? I build on top of the mountain. If I build connected to the mountain, I go on solid ground, flat ground, build a platform to go into the mountain so everything can be flat. I don't build the houses like this. I'm going to build a house and when you go in there, you like this. Stay on top of your head. Don't reach gravity. Come on now, they've been playing with us too long. Doesn't reach the thing of gravity. So, question?
Just a comment. So, what you're talking about, there are some that say that there is a sphere, sort of a protective sphere around.
That's the globe.
Right. That's the
globe. Field.
But so it was created so that we can only go but certain ones can only go but so far because they were saying, they're trying to get out and go to these.
No, they couldn't go. They couldn't go to the moon. Listen to me. You know how cold it is on the moon? They couldn't go where the stars is at. That's the celestial realm. See, they got their firmaments. It's lapped up. But when you start going into what you call the firmament, that's why there's no oxygen there. Like you go to the water, you do the same thing. See, the water is just a natural film. We're engulfed in the water. The space is considered like water. Mm-hmm. That's why it's a shear they put the atmosphere, magnetic field to protect you. So your sun won't scorch you or kill you. It's to protect you from the cosmos. Now, they trying to find a way to break the magnetic belt. They try to go underneath the water. They've been trying a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. They said, maybe we go down underneath the water. They've been going in caves in the earth. They got a cave that go all the way down. They say they still got a camera going down there. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they get cameras so the lens can see how far off. And then when they see the lens are far off, they make believe to the people that they up there doing something. Mm-hmm. They got companies up there. How you get to the magnetic field? How? They tried a couple of times, something exploded. They ain't gonna tell you that. Matter of fact, they killed a whole NASA team because one of the head astronauts said, we haven't got there yet. We trying to get there. Got rid of it. Now watch this. We get there. Our ancestors went, listen, we went there. We went to the energy. You know why? Because that what was inside of us left us and traveled. That's how we was able to go through the magnetic field because we part of that carbon. We can leave and come back like that. Because there's no physical. We out of the physical, we into the proper form of the cosmos. That's why we was able to travel and come back and talk about the languages, what we seen, the rims. We were able to see the war happen. All that. How do you think we travel and do that?
Would that even suggest when you talk about the realms being, what would you call it? They're on top of each other rather than linear time. Some say.
I'm gonna say this right here. The rims are infinite. Listen to me. The rims are infinite.
I wasn't talking about how many, but it's how.
Right. No, it's an endless rim. When something is endless, you can't stack it on top of each other. It's unmeasured. It's just measured out. Like I said, the only way we know, because our ancestors traveled through what? Through the spirits. And high as I ever know is they went as Porter was to see the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th. In between it was the Zodiac at, with Lucifer gonna get his behind spanked for building that mystery. That's a great. Let me tell you how powerful that Zodiac is. You know what I'm touching? That sits in between the 9th and 10th heavens, above the angels' realms. That is very important. And the angels in hierarchy, the hierarchy that walked in there, they used to see that and see the operation of a high's effect through the realms. That is very sacred. Not all sees that and mess with that Zodiac. That's sit above the 7th, 8th, and 9th heavens. Read the book of Enoch. So it's so marvelous that it's kept away from everything, just to the Creator Himself. Anytime something is guarded that separate, you know it's powerful.
Itself, herself.
It's powerful.
It's ironic you mentioned about going into the earth, because there's a show on Netflix called The Gift, and the premises behind The Gift, it shows that this area that is in Turkey. The first name starts with is Gobelstol or something like that, Turkey. But just look up the movie called The Gift. And there's a scene in The Gift where the young lady was having all these intuitions, but it was her collective memory coming up. But the collective memories was coming through her from her grandmother that she knew not of. Even though her grandmother was still living, she was told that her grandmother had transitioned, but that collective memory was coming through her from her grandmother. And then when she was starting to journey on with her grandmother, she made that connection. Her grandmother took her into the bowels to the belly of the earth and then through the caves. And in that cave, that's when she went into herself, and it started showing her herself. So, and then with that is when she finally realized who she was, the earth rebirthed her. She was like reborn again through the earth. And so when I Googled that area, they are actually in the process of making this telescope that they are going to launch in 2021, to where this telescope has the ability to see, like you said.
They got the lens. That's how they know what's going on.
They're going to launch this telescope. It's like going to be like only one of 4 in the world. So that's in the area of Turkey. So, but then you look up the history of that area. It talks about the civilization. And I was looking at some of the artifacts that it was showing in their museums in that area. And it was showing like teepees and things like that. I was like, whoa, wait a minute now. So, and then they were talking about how the migration, of course, they're going to admit the migration came from a Mexican up into the area, but they started in that area, then they said the migration went over to the Nile, and built the Nile civilization, because they was ran out of that area of, I can't pronounce it, starts with a G, Gobiza or something, Turkey. But look up the movie, The Gift. Gobekli Temple is, yes. Yes, Gobekli. I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you, Dr. G. I knew it was something. I knew you would get it.
See, what they're hiding is the land we in now, the land of Canaan. I don't know exactly where it's at, and this is me. I heard what Minister Darby said, but I believe truly in my heart that Solomon Temple is somewhere in Arizona, somewhere in that area of Washington. It's somewhere in the area. I'm going to tell you why. They got military operations in a large part of them places you can't go. They've been digging, listen to me, they've been digging in the earth. They found something. They've been digging into the earth. Now, let me say something to you. Why this part where we at is so sacred. Anytime you hear, which a lot of people say, I don't believe, watch this, They my ancestors. Now you believe what you could not even believe trust. I'm using the word trust. If you don't consider us being your people, I know this land is called a land of gods for nothing. The lords and gods for nothing. Now watch this. Here's a temple given to a man to build, not by the architect of man, coming from his ancient forefather Enoch. I want you to hear this. Made like the temples made in the cosmos. Look what he said. And when you make it, you deviate, I'm gonna kill you. Why was that temple made like that? That temple was made, and they still looking at it. That's why they want to crawl, looking at us like, look, they got the DNA. Their ancestors actually went to the cosmos and see the cosmos temples, and came to earth and build them, like after the cosmos. We just fell.
Right.
How we treat our people, we fell. We've been blessed a lot of times. I can say stories even women saved us. Look what happened to one of the women's indigenous women when they got conquered by Persia over here. Look what happened. He looked at her. She's beautiful. He married her. She became his empress. She was the queen. She cried to him for her people. Look what he said. Who is this disturbing you like this? Your general right there. Your general got a plan to kill all my people. See how the woman is? She's going to protect her pedigree, her nationality. So it's a lot of things that we do. Our women protect us. I'm going to tell you like this. We got to do this. We're doing it. We build it. I just want the brothers and the sisters out there to get together. Y'all can do this. It starts with groups. I told him coming on the train, we can teach the in-house. We just got, if I'm going to go out here and make $800 a week, I'm making $90,000 a year. My wife went to school, she got some knowledge, accounting, she knows basic math and all that. We got a group of about 200 people. Just come together, put your money together, and you hire her, let them be the teachers. They don't have to be in everybody's household. Just set your kids up, they pay somebody to do the curriculum, and they be by the laptop, they teach and get the stuff, showing it, and your kids sit right there learning everything in the world, Spanish, everything. We can do this. It's not even hard. You don't have to send them. See, they're making money off of us. When you go in a roll, you register to vote, they get money off their registration form, enrollment form, and negotiable instruments. They get money. Just stop. Take care of your own house. Then they turn around and say, you know what, we got nobody here. Hold up. You go to school. What's going on? Watch this. What's going on? Oh, homeschool. They know homeschool. It's our blood pedigree, right? Teach our children. On the trees. Now they start saying, we got a problem. Now we can't get no money. What happened? The stores on the corner are going to be empty. The bear store is going to be empty. The state can't get no money. I'm going to tell you they're going to punish the people that can't pick up the trash. Well, y'all doing it to each other. Y'all got to do is enroll and register to vote. We can't get no, they're going to start telling the truth. We can't get no money from the federal government. The federal government will say, okay, we're going to start giving the money to these groups right here. But guess what they're going to do? They're going to leave you, they're going to say, guess what you're going to have to do though? Get your own trash. Okay, y'all want to do that? Put out your own fire. I'm going to tell you how reckless they is. They're going, and they can't pay the police either. Oh, I'll tell you the truth now. So then they're going to go around and burn up your places. They're going to try to do the same thing they did on Black Wall Street. One time, you'll be ready this time. We're more mature. We got more than Cosmos going to be with us. We be more mature. We be ready. We're doing the same thing as Zion's doing, and the Muslims doing in New York. Have your own military, your own police. There's nothing wrong with that. Protecting your women and your children. What's wrong with that? I'm giving all the solutions and remedies in the world. I told Abdullah, when I'm going to sit here and talk to you about this solar system and they got these things, I'm going to tell you the real thing. Personal separation. Get your body separated from that transmitted utility they created. Make them separate. Let one be known as this. That way, all his rights is embodied in his body through blood pedigree. Then it protects his corporation. That means this is my corporation, so I'm being protected by it. So, any questions? Yes.
This is a statement. You're right about the finances coming from the federal government. Before I retired, that's what I did. And one of the things that the federal government does, or the facto government is for various communities, as if they can keep the poverty level high, then they get funds.
Yep.
So there's no real impetus for people to raise up and because these cities want to make sure that these CDBG and home dollars and all of these funds, these various alphabets are coming in, and that's the only way they get it, is that the people rise up and the poverty level goes down, the funds leave.
Absolutely. When the federal government took the money rights away from them, you know what he did? Because the federal government said we don't even want to regulate commerce. The states didn't have power. Once they signed, that's what made the South walked out too, by the way. The South wanted to still operate separate from being a part of the United States. I mean, they didn't want to live up to the central government having all that power. So the Confederacy states walked out. They tried to say slave got to do with no slave, no bindage. It had nothing to do with that. They walked out because the commerce. They didn't want to commit to being the contract they did in Philadelphia.
Sorry.
You're
You're absolutely right, because I have been going back and forth to courts and fighting in the courts myself. But you're absolutely right about that, because I did read that under the Social Security Act, that these cards that you're holding, these Social Security cards, they're only you're only the card holder. You're not the actual person on that card, because that person is a corporation. And anything that you do with them under their commerce, the only way they can get funding or whatever is under that Social Security Act. And that's how they get their child support and everything, because they go through the, they said that the child support was put in place to support the children. But it says in the readings of it, if you go into the Constitution of the state, Title 4D. Yeah, Title 4D, that they said that act is only there, and the women are incidental in the act, because there's some people who have taken them to their boyfriends or husbands to court trying to get child support, and they won their cases against them, and they couldn't do anything about it. And then one of the cases that said that the mothers are only incidental; it's not there for the children or the or the mothers. That they were only incidental in the case, and that the children, they only collected the money so they could pay all of their people that they have under contract, like the sheriffs, the police department.
absolutely.
So that's absolutely right.
See, I'm not going to. She tell you, I can go ahead. Listen, brother, I can blow that whole thing up. They might want to go. They might want to send a missile wave. I start running my mouth tonight. Shoot, I start running my mouth. Let's get him now.
Yeah.
Because that shouldn't be out there in the public. You can call it a civil war like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can call people to go mad when they find it out.
Yeah. Because
You is the holder. UCC law. You're the holder in course.
Well, if you turn over to the back, it say this is the property of the Social Security Administration.
That's right.
and that you're only the card holder.
And under UCC
And then say
law,
when we
under
want it
UCC
back,
law, that's why I
that's
talk
right.
about the CEO of a corporation. You are the authorized representative. You don't supposed to be liable for nothing because you got hold of that card. This is what they're telling you.
That's what
You
I'm
should not be
telling
in jail or nothing because you're the card holder.
That's
You don't
fine.
know that though. You give your exemption up and waive it when you give it to somebody else. Because intimidate, give me the number. Or you gonna get in trouble. Okay. 7 people out there. Or sometimes you get revival. What's your social security number? You want a benefit. Oh, 457, dash so-and-so, dash so-and-so. You gave it away. Now, know what you just did? You just gave, that's not fraud. It can't be fraud or forgery now that you gave it away voluntarily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they tell you too, you ain't supposed to give nobody that number too.
Sure not.
And
You're not obligated to give nobody that number.
But even in your child support, if you give them that card number, you go back to Social Security and you tell them, wait a minute, you got a debt on this card.
Well, see,
Because anything that you're dealing with, anytime the ladies fill out an application, from what I understand and when I'm reading what they have on their website, it says that anytime they fill out an application, that you're begging for a benefit from them. And that's the only way that works.
Mm.
see the material for the women, the birth certificate.
We'll talk about that off there.
The birth certificate. See, a lot of women, when they have babies, they go down there and the man go down there, or if the man is not there, they put the man's name on it. Now, he never contests that it's not him. Let me say what I mean. We go agency, Department of Violence Statistics, Health and Violence Statistics, get something. The first thing they're looking at is that when you reach a mature age, you went down there and applied for that birth certificate under that name. You got a birth certificate, you would apply for that Social Security card, you provide a birth certificate. That's Social Security Administration, you got proof. Then you went down there and you went down there and enrolled into school. So here go all the ammunition of things. You're getting all the IRS and Social Security forms that put you in as a servitude, and you're not using the ones that take you out of it as a servitude, which I already have. We went over there. You know we got them already. That's why you know you go in the bank with the first two numbers they ask you for.
The Social Security number.
Or an EI number.
Right.
And watch this. Why don't know they ask you for individual taxpayer identification number? Because that's going to put you back in your country.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you one of the secrets. People don't understand. I show him an IRS form. Oh, you can't go with your Social Security card. Yes, I can. I can go with my Social Security card because I'm the holder of the card. And I'm the authorized representative. Y'all wouldn't use that name. When I went in there, I got some organizations, when they asked my country, in Morocco, Delaware Village, Sheikh Mexico. That was on my Social Security thing. Matter of fact, I did one at one time. They were trying to catch me with the address. And they finally sent me something in the mail, and I got it. I called the lady up. She said, wait a minute, you said you had 100 Morris Drive, Delaware Village, Sheikh Mexico in Morocco. Well, I said, excuse me, ma'am, let me speak to somebody that deal with international affairs at the Social Security Ministry. Is right there. She said, I have one person here. There's a guy, he got a lady in the phone. I said, miss, I claim my country by treaty. Excuse me, I forgot to give you an address that I operate a suite within the United States based on treaty. She said, okay, what's that number? No, excuse me, that was on my 2848 form, appointing my trust power attorney over this fraud man name. So she called me, the guy, like, hey, he's not know. He said, wait a minute, I'm hearing this. He said, I learned the revelation. I said, yeah, you know you can train your country by treaty? Yes. International law. You claim your country by treaty. That's what's going on now. So we have to, I already have the formula how to get that number. Even the IR number, how you get that with the Homeland Security, we already got the procedures set up. I'll show you the forms and stuff. I'll show you I ain't gonna say the name because I want to let people know how to use that form. But where they come from your country. You put to have your nationality document stamped, your government seal, your website. Then nobody gonna argue with you. You just gonna get the number coming from your country. When you go to the IRS to do something, all the countries come up. It doesn't say the Kingdom of Morocco. Notice it say this right here. It just say Morocco. It's still in the database as Morocco. There's no one, there's no one thing. We just got to know how to put these procedures together and use them. Instead of going out there trying to run into their courtrooms and argue with them, trying to pick liens, man, you working against the treaty. You working against your own interests because you ain't supposed to be doing that. Go, Cameron.
No, I was just looking at some comments online that indicate that we cannot use their commerce game. They're not honorable at nothing, and Blackmore's at their side. Commerce game must change. The Moors created the commerce game.
That's true.
We created the Silk Roads. So the Amenities of Benedict, that was created by the Moors.
We're not operating it right. That's all.
They just put a number on it. Where there were words, they just put a number on it. So if you go and look at the Benedicts of Amity, if you give you the words, which are related to the terms of insurance. So you'll see the words like jettison, you'll see the words like subrogation. So those are the commerce game. So what they do, they took the word in the alkaline which the Moors created for the Silk Road. That's how you operate on the Silk Road and on water. And they took the words and they converted and just put a number in the front so they can have for data, because they deal with the numbers. So we are the creators of the commerce game. That's why we have to get back to our ancient foremothers and forefathers and how they did business. They set up everything.
They understood astrology. That's the religion. We have to get back to the divinity of the religion. So, we have to stop giving them credit for what our ancestors set up for us to do and how to operate.
Well, see, the thing about it is, a lot of our Moors, they get angry when they don't know how to run currency. They don't know how to navigate on the high seas vessel. That's the word current, flow of currency, of current.
Mm-hmm.
The flow of water, the flow. When the sea is steady, every ship moves what? It does trade, everything calm. They sell, when the sea is, the current's all messed up, the ships crash, nobody can return home, and you got tragedy at sea, cargo loss, you can't do bartering right. So, you have to know how to do commerce. And that's what, they didn't teach us how to do commerce.
Mm-hmm.
We have to learn, it's privately among ourselves, how to do commerce. And do like the Pakistanis, Afghanistan, when they come over, everybody's come over, do it in another country. They just build in their community. They build their own communities, build like China do. China build what? Their own community, their own agriculture in that land.
Right.
Then they bring from their land, that agriculture, they do here and bring back there. So they never go dry. So they're constantly doing bartering. We got to learn how to do bartering. So if you don't understand security orders and county orders and custody agreements and having custody and possession of something, goods. So you got to understand UCC law, Article 9, Section 311, 311 say what? Anytime a treaty regulation comes into the exemption, it brings the word treaty in. You need not follow a security, a UCC financial statement. You do it yourself from your trust what you're doing. Because it's based on a treaty. I'm a treaty nation. That's where I'm from. Title 8, Article 8, entitlement rights. You got entitlement rights. You got an interest in that.
That's right.
You give it up to the state every day. When you sign a registration form, you enroll your kids in school, you sign all these forms, you go in the hospital. I want insurance, free insurance. They say, well, I got to take care of this refugee. Needs some money. The refugee needs shelter and protection. We need more police. Crime is getting bad. We got to protect the people, the community. Goddamn, we got to stop this stuff, man. Crime is getting bad here. We got a drug epidemic. That's all properly created and turn around and do that stuff. That's called psychological coercion and social engineer. Then in turn around, take somebody, send them to school and indoctrinate them and castrate them. You know what castrate is? Just like in nature, natural. If you castrate a man, he can't get no feelings. They get erection and have babies. So the woman looking at this man like this, oh my God, look at this. She want to mate. So they castrate you mentally that you will have no affections for your ancestors' inheritance. You have no mental affections for them. You have no care for what they did for you or what they left you. So they castrated you mentally. You sitting there, well, I'm a dean of a school. You sitting there, yes, I'm a dean of the school. You just happy that they put a statue of you up there or name a street after you. You don't die funky, corrupt, and no good, and went into the next life of a rotten, a low life. You in the next life a low life. And they don't honor you. You know why? Because you never gave tribute to your ancient ancestors and piety and deity. That's all they care about. The ones on earth that was honorable with them, that left before you, when you leave here, you're going to be right up on this stand. They're going to throw it. They say, look at him, look at her, she died. I don't want to hear nothing. Did you do like them? Now you ain't got no standing.
Oh my God.
Before, remember, they left before you left for honor. What you going to do now? Be like them. They castrate you. Put all the weight on the woman now. She got to do everything now. You call her tricking a hoe and all that. You out your mind. Woman carried a baby for 9 months or so. Push him out, and she got to carry around. You were, oh man, shit no good. Be ain't no good. Your devil got her going to the devil courtroom. Where you at? Where your manhood at?
Break it down, bro.
Take care of her. She ain't got to go in there. Love her. Stop loving everything. I do everything you see. Love her. You only got 2 sets of eyes. You only sit in one chair at a time, sleep in one bed at a time, only eat out of one plate of food at a time. What you gonna do? Then want to run around here with all these women and wife. You can't take care of that one woman right there. You can't handle her. Come on now. Let's be realistic. Our women under pressure now. We ain't got no place for them to have the babies. They ain't got no place to take. See, when a child start getting a certain age, they want to put him on a certain grammar. They can't even do that. They got to run to the school. Or I'm going to sign them up at the school. Then you know she up there drinking in the corner. She a drunk. She's smoking pot. That's the only way out. And you doing my turn to give me some of it too, baby. That's what's going on, man. Look how people turn to drunks and potties, man. They say, no, we got nothing we can do. Let's legalize the cannabis, marijuana. They go to smoke that, they're just going to be numb. While we go to the next day, they keep them numb.
Poison in there.
Ain't nothing wrong with this. You see, take away all my pains. I know it take away your pains. You take away your pains. You know what I mean? You want to kill yourself anyway. You might kill yourself if you don't smoke that pot. You can't, listen, these people can't take coming in the world. After coming in the world, being born, pushed out of a woman, put in the school system, and then being told all your life that your family came up both nasty and disgusting, and you niggas, what you got to live for?
I never signed up for that.
What do you got to live for? That's why I say this man is very important. When this man is putting out here, unbelievable. I'm going to say something. I want everybody to listen to this. If Abdul was an Albion, he'd be rich.
What?
Hold up, I spoke a fact.
Say that again.
If Abdul was an Albion, he'd be rich. I told the truth.
Somebody sent me a video and Albion said on there, steady, steady, steady. I almost fell out the chair. I said, get out of here.
Because you know what? Every high institution will honor him. He'll be with the hat. They said, give him the Bellbow Peace Prize. I'm telling you, they'll honor him. For where he speak up. These people are German. They got a right to this. Their ancestors sweat and toil, and we got to use our grammar system. We're not like, they'll love him. But look at our people. Talk about Dubé, just coming around. Give me Washington Post. Give me Daily News. Oh, you see that? LeBron, somebody tried to crack on his mother. Yeah. Yo, Rihanna, you see that man? Her butt got a 2 size bigger. Y'all dead. Y'all dead. You see, I'm telling the truth about this thing here. This little man got all this. And you get sick, it make you sick in your stomach to read that for just a half an hour.
Well, they thought it was kryptonite, remember?
Oh. Damn, man, ain't no sports in here. Damn, man, ain't no clothes in there, no sneakers, man, I don't see no damn Gucci boots in there. I'm serious, that's how messed up we are. Listen. Oh, he got the page right here. It got Rhonda on it. Look, you talking about Prime J right here. I'm going to tell you, that's the kind of mindset we have. Them people right there are getting aside the enemy and push to our young children, don't believe what we say. Because they want to get their endorsement. They sold out already because they raped them in the mind. They want to hear with them. And listen to me. If any of them sports celebrities listen to me right now, you are crazy if you don't support your ancient ancestors, those who for your ancient ancestors. That's what you should drive your finance for. Because when it's all over cut and dry, that basketball ain't gonna give you no nationality. That basketball ain't gonna make you own no land. You ain't got no land. You got colorable title, everything you got, because you're using colorable money. You promised to pay, you never paid. So that's why they lock you up in jail, because you promised to pay, you got to pay. That's why they can commit the War Powers Act on you, because they put a currency out here, they created it, now somebody got to pay that debt. And each of that debt is on every one of them straw man head as a surety in your body.
And they get them for tax evasion.
There's a debt on them. You're a senator, you don't took us, you're a senator for them, you ain't gonna help Morocco out. I'm not to keep doing what you're doing. But don't get mad at us when we start doing what we're doing. We ain't running around here with no gun. We running around here locking people up, throwing them in jail, dragging them down the street, shooting them in the head. We ain't doing nothing destructive. We just following positive jurisprudence. What's wrong with that? So nowadays, you follow positive jurisprudence and law, you're an enemy of what? The state. What state? The ones who claim to assert authority as a legitimate government, but they're not. That's the ones gonna be mad. I'll be looking.
Yeah, we can close out.
Okay, y'all ready to close out?
Abdullah's gonna,
You gonna close out, sis? When you gonna do it?
it's in that bag. It's in that one.
Why don't you do like you did yesterday? You got anything you wanna put in the agenda you wanna talk about before we close out?
Huh?
You got anything you wanna talk about? Y'all doing personally on the agenda you wanna get up and talk about?
No, he's gonna, talk about the course.
Okay.
All right. Give this brother a hand.
This is my first teacher.
Oh,
Early
man.
2000. You know you is, man. Yes, you is. You was hard back then too, though. You go a little hard back then. You used to lighten up a little bit, though.
Yeah, he'll lighten up a little bit.
Back then he was hard. All of y'all, Brother Ryan told me you educated. You go to court when you're in your proper person. You remember that? You're not even your proper person. You don't get. Oh man.
We have a treat for y'all. We have a 10-week Juris Consultants course. It'll be taught here, but it'll be broadcast through Zoom. So we'll have spaces, 50 spaces here at the House of the Awakening Mind, and we'll have also 50 online spaces available. So we have 100 spaces available. 50 spaces here at the House of the Awakening Mind, and 50 online spaces. All right, I'll read this. So Juris Consultus 10-week program, March 14, 2020 to May 30th, 2020. That'll be on Saturdays from 12 to 4. Saturdays on 12 to 4, March 14, 2020 to May 30th, 2020. This is already online. House of Awakening Mind, Abdullah Bey Facebook page, Illustrious Joaquin Bey's Facebook page, Tamara Eel Facebook page, and all right. So the right to self-govern is derived from laws of nature. Nature's God. No license required. 300 FRNs. Course outline. The teachers. Yours truly, Abdullah Iltalimonsi Bey. I'll be teaching the first 2 weeks. And also was talking about with Joaquin is for the 30 minutes of each first. We'll talk about that, giving people a continued overview of how to study. Week 1, course outline, we taught by me, Introduction to Etymology and Jurisprudence. Week 2, taught by me, Grammar and Semantics. Week 3 to 10, taught by Shem, Malachi Bey. Week 3, Principles of Contract. Week 4, Jurisdiction and the Ruling Principle of Law. Week 5, International Norms and Jurisprudence. Week 6, File Petition and Quo Warranto in Federal Court. Week 7, Petition of Removal pursuant to treaties. Week 8, Letters of Rogatory. Week 5, Major Writs. Week 10, Mock Case/Review. So we have here 602 Vanderbilt Avenue, that's here, Wilmington, Delaware. And we also have online classroom, Zoom room. All right, we have payment options. Full payment, well, first option, full payment. Second option, 2 payments of 150 notes each. Pay, https://sejuris.eventbrite.com. That's sejuris.eventbrite.com. Shall I write that on the board? Let's say you can go on House of Reawakening Mind Facebook page. They have the website page. It's on the House of Reawakening Mind Facebook page.
I just posted.
Shoot that Tamara. It'll just posted the flyer. All right. Also Abdullah Bey Facebook page. Illustrious Joaquin Bey Facebook page. All right. Tamara Hill's Facebook page. All right. So I'm looking forward to this. Shem and I put a lot of work, we've been putting a lot of work in preparing for this 10-week course. And we're looking to, we also, Tamara, myself, and Shem are part of a caucus, a Moorish body politic. We have about over 30 members of the caucus from different parts of the country, and there's quite a few others who want to join. So we're building, structure. For 8 months, I've been with him for 8 months now. I've known him for about 13, 14 years, and we've never worked together until 8 months ago. I've known him for 13 years. He worked with Brother Noah, and I would see him intimately over the course of the years, and I remember when I put out the Al-Moroccan Masonic Gate paper, I was on my way down from the store, from the supermarket, and I called him. I had taken papers with me with the plans of dropping papers off at his house. So I called him to let him know I was on his way, our way, and we talked for 2 hours. Yep. That was the first time. And prior to that, we had seen each other for about 6 months?
Yep, 6 months. And
about 6 months, Dunkin' Donuts, in the bumping into each other. So we finally got a chance to really talk, for 2 hours outside his house, and I was like, man, that's Ray Seal. I said, that's Ray Seal. On the highest level. That is Ray Seal. So I'm there like, I said, man, we gotta get this to the people. I did like this. We gotta get it to the people. Gotta get it to the people. Gotta get it to the people. So I did my motion of, you gotta get out. So the next day we got together. From that day on, 8 months later, here we are. All right, and Tamara has been an instrument. She's been with us for 8 months. All right, and very great organizational skills. Someone said to me, one of my former co-workers, that he was vice principal of school where I was working, and he said to me, with organization, you do a lot. And Tamara has great organizational skills. What I see lacking in this Moorish movement for over 27 years of observation, lack of organizational skills. That's our weakness. Lack of organizational skills. Knowledge of organizational skills. Knowledge of how to build structure. Tamara has great organizational skills. This brother knows how to build structure. So our working together and working with other brothers and sisters in different parts of the country, and we have, like I said, there's others who are interested in joining us. And we're open to working with other body politics. But as Tamara said, let's build our structure. The Field of Dreams, the movie Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. And so we're going to continue to build. And I thank you. And I greet you. Assalamu alaikum.
You want to announce the things behind you?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. We have movie night. There are going to be 5 movie nights this year. There was the fifth Friday. There's five fifth Fridays of this year. So the first fifth Friday of the year is. Let me change that. The first fifth Friday. I can't say. I got to be, because I'm not correct by saying the first fifth Friday of the year, because the year starts March 21st.
2020.
All right. The first fifth Friday of 2020. Thank you. I got to be correct. First fifth Friday of 2020 is January 31st. So we have movie night. This is organized by Tamara Hill. All right. So there's.
Featuring Grand Sheik
And this will be presented. The Wiz. The Wiz, Taj Tariq Bey will be moderating, the movie discussion of The Wiz. All right, it's here at the House of William Making Mind, 602 Vanderbilt, Wilmington, Delaware. So we have Crystal Join presents Delaware Crystal Club, Root Chakra Activation, date January 25th, 2020, time 2:30 to 6:30 p.m., location here at 602 Vanderbilt Avenue, Wilmington, Delaware, 92082. Come and join.
19802.
Oh,
Just say
19802.
exempt. Just say exempt.
All right. Come and join Root Chakra Vegan Show along with a chair massage.
Stew.
What's that?
Vegan stew. You don't have in your glasses.
Oh, no, yes. Come and join Root Chakra Vegan Stew along with a chair massage while we learn about Root Chakra and how to balance with Crystal. All right? I met Crystal, Zola is her name. I met Zola at Black and Nobel at the pop-up shop on South Street, Philadelphia. 410 South, at 410 South Street, and she would vend on Saturdays there. This was August of 2018. So she invited me to be a speaker for Those Chakra Thursday about 2 or 3 months ago. So I connected her with Tamara. Tamara had organized this speaking myself, Dave, we had Crystal, Hassan, yours, Dr. Naila, Reiki,
Troja, Urban Morgan.
yes,
Troja.
all right, it was wonderful, all right, so that's when Crystal and Tamara met, and then they connected, and this is wonderful because Crystal has a group sisters that she worked with here in the Wilmington area and others. So bringing both Crystal and Tamara together is wonderful. That's because that's elevating the sisters. So you have two powerful sisters working together along with other sisters because Crystal has other connections as well as Tamara. So you're bringing that energy together. So anything that we can do, to support that financially, all right, encouragement-wise, we're going to do. All right, we have to elevate the sisters. We have to elevate the sisters where the sisters are out in front with knowledge. Sisters must rise with knowledge of their divinity. Very powerful. So I will do anything that I can, financially, anything I can, my connections, because I can make things happen. Just like that there with sister, also connected with sister, what's her name? Salah, Sister Salah. I taught Sister Salah etymology, out in Washington, D.C., and I helped get funds for her so she can do a workshop in Chicago. So I called my connections in there so I can make things happen. All right? So I'm backing these sisters with everything I have, with all my connections, whatever I have, I will back these sisters, Tamara, and Crystal Joy, and push them. All right? Any other announcements?
Well, I got one thing to say before I bring to the attention back here, so we know that it's very important that you stand on ancient law. There was a situation in Pennsylvania back here in the 90s. Two situations. One was with the Amish, was a man was raping the young women, and the other man was selling drugs. Now, regardless of one of the deadliest DAs in probably the country in Castile. Castile was a DA that was very nasty. He's known throughout all the states as being one of the more solid DAs. He went to try to do something, and the Amish beat him out with an old law that was going back to the crown. And he came up on TV and said, they have a law in place, a preamble law, preamble citizens. That our law to stop us from getting involved with their affairs. And it ain't open, he couldn't get jurisdiction. So he said, we'll handle this man that did this in our society. We'll handle this dope dealer. Showing they have power to punish and do what they want. So Castile wasn't able to prosecute them based on the old law. And see what they did? They went into the federal court on the old law. Stopped the district attorney and said, you can't do anything out of your jurisdiction. I mean, you don't have persona jurisdiction. So you see how powerful it is when you operating and you stand on your ancestry. They stand on their ancestry that had these come from under these crowns and got these charters before the United States was born. So I'm just bringing this out. That's our most important. Another thing in this class, y'all better get ready for this because there's going to be a whole lot of case law that we're going to be going into. That's going to be the majority of your class because this is how you're going to have to learn. You have to learn by seeing what's going on in the courtroom and these arguments. And you're going to have to sit and listen to, sometimes we're going to bring in here stuff that the Hague is, a session is going to the Hague may take an hour. You need to learn and listen to how these people be ruling what they're doing. We're going to dissect these organizations. We're going to be going, but mainly going to be heavy case law. A lot of case law, a lot of jurisprudence, and a lot of treaties. Because this is what we got to learn. And a lot of things is nativity, where you come from, your origin. We're going to talk about origin. We'll put the maps up there. So we're going to start and make sure we understand, we ground, well schooled, and with jurisprudence. That's all I have to say. I'm glad to be here. Once again, peace, love, honor, and contract to all of you.